Greetings and welcome to an episode of Zelf on the Shelf. My name is Seven. I am from the Ramadan sector. This is my friend Samantha.
Oh boy!
Ta-da!
Welcome back to our careers.
I look like if Mike TV fell in a toxic sludge.
Yeah,
and fell
you
in the cootie water that made the Ninja Turtles the Ninja Turtles.
Oh my god, there's sound.
There is? Thank God.
I literally said like a mini prayer in my head before we started.
Hey, listen, I prayed to the god Hanuman on my drive over here that I could find my wallet, and then I found my wallet. So
It's amazing.
I guess Hanuman is the one true living God. The evidence is undeniable.
How are you guys doing today? I just want to address the elephant in the room. What my hair looks like is none of my business. Oh, also I have my Invisalign in, and I have a list.
I think you're overthinking this. You look great. You feel like we could both be walking out of Area 51, the SLC alien-themed club, or Area 51 in New Mexico. I think either way, they'd be lucky to have us. You specifically. Me, they'd be like, you're making fun of us. You're taking the piss.
2 of my cats are apparently church agents. Sorry, I need to get into I haven't been speaking to people enough today. Okay, I'll stick with the Invisalign unless everyone starts insulting me.
Okay, that seems like a fair
So you
trade.
found your wallet, so I feel like your week's really turned around, but how else are you doing?
Yeah, I'm going to be able to eat now. It's going to be phenomenal.
Yeah.
I've been on a sort of involuntary food celibacy.
I love those. Other than that, how's life?
Other than that, life is pretty good. I feel great.
Okay, what questions do you have for me about my Invisalign?
How long will you have it?
Until November. So not too long. It's only 4 months, and it hurts.
How much does Invisalign go for these days?
So I did Smile Direct because it's half the price of Invisalign, and I had to put $250 down, and then it's $89 a month for like 2 years.
That seems doable.
Yes.
Also, Spency.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Anyone else done Invisalign? Sound off in the comments. Tell us how your week's going.
How's your week been so far?
It's been pretty good. Yeah, it's been the summer's been nice. I feel like we've all been being quite social. One thing I did notice from getting my Invisalign, just to launch into the inside of my brain immediately, is like as soon as I got Invisalign, I noticed in my head, can we shut the door? It's weirding me out that Jared's face is like kind of watching, but he's like not an audience member nor a participant. Anyway.
We always have to have a voyeur watching.
Oh my god, I wish you could see the back of Tanner's alien costume. Anyway, I noticed as soon as I got my Invisalign, Tanner can't use his phone right now. This is what you should do to curb your phone addiction. Just wear that every day.
Oh, that's a great idea. That's probably better than the Mark Zuckerberg.
You can paint in it, but you can't use your phone in it.
Yeah.
Mark Zuckerberg's obviously not working. It's been over a year.
Our friend Abby told me last night she's going to start a petition to get me to change my phone background because it's freaking out all my friends.
It's kind of bumming us all out at this point. This is like, I've been looking at this far too often for years. It's Marky Mark.
But it's got that Mary Oliver poem on his head. It's a reminder that every time I am going onto my phone, which I do so much, I love to be on my phone.
I will get on my phone at a moment's notice.
Oh yeah,
if
in
I'm
any
feeling
circumstance.
the slightest bit of discomfort in a social situation, I will get on my phone so hard.
Welcome to my phone, my show where we talk about politics, but I will get on my phone.
Why is this wonky again?
Tim Robinson fans in the chat. What was I saying? I think I was saying something.
I was talking about my emotional issues and how that relates to my Invisalign. As soon as I started doing it, and bearing in mind, as soon as I got it, I was like following the rules. You're supposed to write 22 hours a day. So like 2 hours for eating and drinking, which, whatever. I was doing my best, but sometimes it's like if you want to have a coffee in the morning and then, like the time just stretches out. And to be honest, it feels kind of like uncomfortable to wear it. But I noticed that I was having this like really self-critical voice in my head already for this thing that I'd had for 2 days, just kind of telling me like, you're not doing good enough, like you're a failure. And it wasn't as overt as that. It was kind of subtle, but I noticed that it was there. And then I was like, Sam, you're doing fine. Like you just got Invisalign. It's like really not a big deal, but I don't know. It just felt like so illustrative of a bigger issue in my psyche and most of our psyches, let's be real, of just like that constant creating a problem where there isn't one, or just like seeing everything through the lens of like failure and success, and like the success side is so narrow and you can never live up to it. And yeah, can anyone relate?
You know, we really do. Our brains evolved to be, well, I mean, they do a lot of things, obviously, but our minds specifically are for creating disaster stories and helping us be aware of predators, potential risks, constantly assessing our surroundings and relationships to understand, to help us feel safe, or at least not even to feel safe. It's not the point of the evolutionary process was not to make us feel safe. It was to anticipate danger. And now that is just constantly churning, whether we want it or not.
Yeah.
Our mind gears are just like churning out catastrophe stories all the time.
Especially if you don't move enough. Like I hate realizing how much movement I need to do in a day. Otherwise the energy will get turned inward.
TBH, I think it's more important than meditation.
I do
just
as well.
Being able to like get anxiety. I found for me, like getting anxiety out. I get anxiety when I'm not moving my body, because then it's just like pent up energy.
Yeah, and then it just cycles internally, and you'll create a problem to solve rather than
I also Nietzsche. This might be a paraphrase of what he said, but he essentially said, "Don't trust any thought that comes to you indoors. Big thoughts come from big spaces." And being outdoors is, of course, so inspiring when you can be in nature and see a big view. And
big thoughts come from high minds.
Oh,
we've always said that.
Oh yeah. Carl Sagan, very high mind.
We don't have high minds right now because we wanted to start the live stream on time. Lisa said, Phil, you, Sam, had the same thing with both physiotherapy and CBT, that if I wasn't getting better fast enough, it was because I wasn't doing the work well enough. Yeah, and there's Song of Sears. There's a lot to be said about social shame structures. I feel like this whole comment is like Song of Sears said about social shame structures, creating that kind of framework. I love a good alliteration.
Yeah. In any situation, basically.
Yeah. Well, I've been humbled by Invisalign, that's for sure. I don't like the sound of my own voice as much anymore. This will be good for me.
It is. It's good. It's good. When I see like adults with adult braces, I'm like, get it. Yeah, do you?
Yeah.
And that's not even adult braces.
Yeah.
It's Invisalign.
Yeah.
Everybody does Invisalign.
And everyone's doing Invisalign. If you're not doing Invisalign, you're a fucking loser.
How come we're not? How are we talking so much about Invisalign and you're not even getting Invisalign?
It's not even Invisalign. It's Smile Direct.
Oh can't afford Invisalign. You're using the Kroger brand Invisalign.
I just feel like Invisalign is like saying Hoover. Like Hoover in England, everyone calls a vacuum a Hoover.
That's
so maybe
hilarious.
it's like Kleenex and tissue for you guys.
Sure.
That's just the word for it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say like Smile Direct Club every time.
Oh, we actually don't go by the Church of Mormon anymore. The full name, please.
How's this live stream going? It's hard to tell sometimes, but hi, welcome those of you that are here. We're going to read out super chats, and also if you don't want YouTube to take a percentage of the money, you can also Venmo us. All of our links are in the description box. So yeah, we kind of use these Friday streams as a fun way to all chat and hang out in an unstructured way, and also as a fundraiser for the channel. So we appreciate you being here in whatever capacity.
Yeah, welcome to this Freaky Friday Fun Fest love stream, where we actually are experiencing Freaky Friday business right now. I have been body swapped with an alien body swapper, of all things, if you believe it. Ain't that just the damnedest?
Sharon said, today seems to be a day of shame. So low now, can't see over the edge of the hole I put myself in. Thank you for providing other thoughts to my tired old mind. That sucks. Being in a shame spiral is one of the worst experiences. And I will just say that whether or not you've done something you regret or not, and it's, no, there's not really much context here, but I think if we can all just recognize that we're all the products of our genetics and experiences, doing our best with the conditioning that we have, and we all do things at times that don't align with what like our values are, or I don't know, we're all messy and we're all contradictory, and like especially, I mean, in some ways it's good, but like the social climate can be such these days that you just always feel like you're on the edge of doing something wrong, or I know I can sometimes.
Yeah.
But I think there is always a logical case to be made for loving yourself, forgiving yourself, and yeah.
A couple things that I've found really insightful recently. A story by I don't remember whose name, but he was talking about how he had like extremely bad anger issues his whole life, where he was just like needed to be like confrontational and like fighting and raging. And eventually, after like a series of catastrophic relationship tankings and things, he just had to like get some help. And the wisdom somebody offered to him was realizing that that anger was all self-directed, that as upset as he was toward the outside, it was way worse inside.
Yeah.
And then he was advised, like, hey, listen to what you say to yourself. Literally say it out loud. When you catch yourself, you're driving or something, maybe not while you're driving. I don't know whether your phone, while you're driving, but when you're having negative self-talk and you're like, God, I'm a piece of shit. I can't believe I fucked up so bad. Literally say it into a phone as if you're talking to a friend. Be like, you piece of shit. You fucked up so bad. You forgot to put that document in the mail. You motherfucking. And he realized that he would never, ever, ever talk to another human being the way that he was talking to himself. And that was just like
if I had a friend that was telling me like, oh, I'm worried I'm like not doing a good enough job on my Invisalign, I'd be like, who cares? Like, just do your best. Like, take an extra few weeks if you need to. Like, it doesn't fucking matter. Like, yeah. Anyway, thank you, Tyler, for the super chat. So glad the thumbnail wasn't the only place we'd see the sick suit. The entire Zelf Extended Universe cast are so cute and charming. Love you all. Thank you, Tyler Greenwood. I appreciate that.
Can I say one more thing about anxiety and
yes,
stuff?
Please.
This is an insight from my partner, Ash, who taught me a trick from their therapist, which was whenever you notice yourself writing catastrophic narratives, take it to its most absurd. So you're like, oh, what if somebody so is mad at me? And it's like, yeah. What if they are plotting with the mayor to have me arrested tomorrow, and then they're going to literally tar and feather me? Like, just take it to and then you'll be like, okay, like, okay. Yeah.
Or an alternate version of that exercise is like, okay, what if this thing that I'm afraid will happen, then what will I do? And then what? And then what? And just realize that like whatever possibly could happen, you have survival instincts. Most likely your survival is not super at risk, and you will figure it out and you'll find a path. You know what I mean? And usually the worst case scenario in like every situation is like, I'm going to feel really, really bad. I'm going to feel pain. And it's like, if you can kind of trust yourself to be able to sit with that potential pain that might come, then it's almost like you don't have to worry about it as much now, and it can like ease how things are at now. Totally.
You're going full Samantha Shelley goes stoic.
Yeah, this is a good chance to advertise my coaching services if anyone's looking to chat with someone about anything going on in their life, specifically faith journey related, but also just generally in a more kind of like structured way, then book a session with me next week. I have a lot of spots open. I think there's some spots available every day still, but yeah.
And if you want to just throw money at me for no reason, hit me up.
That's also your right as an American.
Yeah.
If you're not from America, sorry about that. It's not your right. Okay, well, Faith Transition Podcast. My mission companion and I saw a UFO in Westerville, Ohio. Oh my God, I had a dream that I was in Ohio last night and there were alligators in the river. About 1,000 feet above us. Is that 1,000 feet? Clear blue sky. Around 6 to 7 p.m. we're riding our bikes, rode for half a mile to almost directly under it, kiddie corner to the church. It was September 2011 and we weren't given cell phones and didn't carry our digital cameras because it was against the rules to take pics while proselytizing. How interesting. Are you allowed to say that you saw a UFO on the mission? Would they see that as...
Yeah, I guess that could be. They'd probably be like, we must keep these things hush-hush. Don't let it distract from the work of calling people to repentance and ultimately turning them into tithe payers and breeding machines for more tithe payers. It's very important.
I've never had any kind of alien or ghost experience.
I heard lots of them on the mission, because the missions, I cannot emphasize enough how psychologically like isolating they are.
Every missionary has a ghost story.
You are a ghost story, and missionaries are generally just like wild card people magnets. Like the weirdest people in any given city will find the Mormon missionaries. They'll meet each other because The missionaries are just like walking around courting chaos constantly.
That is so true, though. And it's no surprise. I mean, I'm sure this varies from mission to mission, but it generally seemed like the people that would join the church were weirdos.
Yeah.
Or, you know, and I count myself among them, kind of down on their luck, you know, a bit. I don't know.
I mean, you know, they teach you to look for people who are like going through a
Vulnerable.
hard time. Yeah. But anyway, you also get just like you hear a lot of stuff because you're in this world, and the mission and the church is literally everything, and you get to hear you swap deep doctrine
You
stories.
saying that in that costume.
Yeah, it's like imagine going to a Comic-Con, but everybody believes the comic books are real. And so, you know, people tell all their alien stories, and I heard, you know, a sick president talk about the time he and his brother saw a UFO growing up, and how some members believed that it was aliens, essentially. Hi,
Jared's
Jared.
going to do manual labor now.
Where are you doing manual labor on your day off?
I'm going
His
over
friend's
to
house.
Alec.
You do
Alex
so
house
much
to pop.
free labor for friends.
You do.
Are you just like a good person or what?
If you're my friend, I'm gonna do stuff for you. That's the rules.
Damn. That's incredible. What a lesson.
Try to get the
Duck down a little
AstroTurf.
so they can see you.
AstroTurf. Love you.
Anyway, there was like members who believed that you know, when Joseph Smith sees the pillar of light, it's like, what if it was from a saucer, and you see, you know, the tractor beam kind of experience, and then they descend down in the beam of light, and they're like, hello, we are Elohim and Jehovah, and we have come before you, our child. Of course, that's not how it actually played out, because he didn't write about it till like 12 years after the fact and kept changing the story. I doubt it really happened, but
How
interesting.
do we think Scientology is doing right now, given the
Jeez.
recent Senate, whatever it was, committee on aliens briefing?
Oh, interesting.
How are they interpreting that?
God, who knows?
They're like, yep, those are our guys. Or are they like,
Scientology is
those aren't our
spooky.
guys?
Who knows?
Yeah, we should move on swiftly. We don't want to get talking about
We
Scientology.
don't want to, yeah. Don't say the S word, Colin.
We baptized someone on my mission who joined because of the whole God is an alien angle.
Really? Well, I guess this is a good segue into the beef of our episode. Will you
Yeah.
use your primate thumb to
Where are we
open
going?
my
A
stone?
6-digit code.
Look at my face. I know. Mark, let me in, Mark.
Do you have face
You don't
ID?
recognize me, Mark.
Do you not have face ID?
It thinks I'm an
Okay,
alien.
just say it. It doesn't matter if someone
I'm not
knows
going
your-
to say it to them.
It's your phone code. They're not even going to get access to your phone.
Well, you know, I did that thing that they tell you not to do, which is put
Your
this
PIN
in.
code.
Here we go.
Oh, not
All right.
great.
So as
Let me put my alien hat back on.
Mormons are different than most other Christians in that they believe that God dwells in this material universe. And some might be like, well, that's not necessarily true. But when you look at like the scriptures by our Joseph Smith, then it's pretty clear, and from statements by other leaders, that they believe that God lives near a star/planet, because they say both, and surprise, surprise, they're not very clear, even though the two ideas are sort of self-contradictory. We'll get to them, but they believe that God lives next to a star way off in the distance, near a place called Kolob.
Sure.
Kokobium.
Mhm.
And I forget the other word here. Oh no, are we gonna have to do this every time? I did not anticipate this.
I'm going to kill you.
We don't have to read all the things. We can just talk about it.
Okay.
But
You just write it down or something. You can't write it down.
I'll tell you in my made-up
So
alien
annoying.
language.
This is so annoying. Can you not cut a finger hole?
In my green suit? God damn it. So yeah, like most Christians believe in the Trinity, right? Where God is sort of fills the immensity of space, is this multi-dimensional thing that we can't even fathom, but who is a part of us. I actually am more like a Trinitarian Christian than I am a Mormon. Or I guess like even in a Mormon sense, like Elohim, because they also believe that as God now is, man can become, and as God once was, man now is.
Jealous, petty, annoying, vengeful,
Yeah.
narcissistic.
But it's interesting that they believe that like God essentially like evolved. Mormons always try to solve the like, well, who created the universe? Like you can't have nothing without something. And it's like, well, then who created God? All you do is like move that step back. And they're like, well,
Yeah.
another God. And it's like, well, who created that God? Oh, a different God. And it's like, well, who created that God? Oh, another God. But
Yeah.
eventually you have these beings existing in this universe that evolved from like, less complex forms of life into these evolved white Homo sapiens who live everlastingly in bodies of glory, but who come around once in a while to do little magic shows and make sure that their servants are marrying young minors.
Yeah.
They do have to make that
with no clear
really,
explanation for
really
why that
certain.
needs to happen. But lots of stuff about the beverages you're allowed to consume.
Yeah. So Mormons literally worship an alien. I mean, an alien like us. They believe that essentially an alien like came here,
As long as
seeded
the alien
world.
looks like us, they don't quite conceptualize it as alien.
Yeah, they say we're the same race. Of course, that race is white. Today I trolled Dallin H. Oaks' Instagram because he's like, "We've got to fight." Oh, sorry, that was not an analogy. We must fight. No, I'm not going to do it.
Closer.
It was, I was getting
Yeah,
there, but
I think I've never heard you bail on an Oaks impression before.
well, I'm in an alien costume.
It's
Everything
throwing you off,
changes. I feel like I need to talk with my hands more. Just trolling him because he was talking about the need to fight for racism. And I'm like, bro, how can you fight? How can you say racism is bad when you literally have canonized scriptures, not just in the Bible like every other, but you have multiple unique racist scriptures? I think it would be a good gesture to get rid of those, just bare minimum. If I was going to be like, hey, we are the number one fighters of racism, the first thing I'd be like, well, we got to get rid of the scriptures that says God cursed people with a dark skin to make them ugly to the white people. We should probably get rid of that.
Yeah.
In the most correct book on earth.
It just seems like there's even basic branding moves you could do that might push you a little bit further along.
Oh, yeah.
We have a Venmo super chat from Lily who said, I just joined the live stream, but wanted to say my friends never believe me when I start talking about how Mormons believe in cola blow. Thank you, Lily. Yeah, there's so many things about Mormonism that I totally see how people can struggle to be like, yeah, but most people don't believe that, right? And you're like, no, they pretty much do. Yeah.
Unless you call them out on it, and then they'll find it's so wild. I just now that it was Mormons taking their scriptures at face value, and it was some kind of meme, but because they just don't the other day on Instagram I said this thing about or it was the short you posted from a recent video where I called Mormonism a doomsday cult and said that it's making people paranoid about the outside world.
A lot of people in the comments this is actually really offensive. We are not Mormons. You guys are still doing that. Come on. I feel like if you're in Mormonism, you gotta know that that's not worth saying.
Yeah,
that's not. That's not compelling.
I forgot why I brought that up.
You're sure Mormonism's a doomsday cult?
People saying, and I brought up the scripture that was Mormons literally believe that if you don't pay tithing to the church, you will be burned alive at the last day. And they're like, we don't believe that. And it's here's a dozen scriptures to that effect.
Joke about
Here
that
is
openly.
Russell M. Nelson 2 years ago saying, and he said it interestingly. He didn't say you just will be burned. He said tithing will gets your name essentially on a list for the people who will protect you from the day of burning and vengeance. Essentially, I will protect you from the day of burning and vengeance. It's Jesus, that's grim. And when you say burning alive, it kind of throws off. They're used to just being yes, everyone will be burned. We don't really believe that everyone will be burned, but yes, they will be burned. But when you say burned alive, for some reason that really drives it home.
Hits, yeah.
And they're we don't actually.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I respect God for being a list making guy, but outside of that, I think it's pretty fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Violent ordeal. When the spaceship comes back, when those wheels in the sky come back turning, and God, resurrected Jesus alien comes back, it's gonna be a hootenanny.
Yeah. So has anyone in the chat been watching Temptation Island? I just need to know. We won't dwell on it, but if you have to say. What have you been watching? Oh, still Succession.
Succession, yeah, getting close. We're like midway through the last season.
So weird. Crazy.
Life-changing,
Remember how
so
many
good.
people in our comments for years were like, you guys need to watch Succession, you'd love it. And we were like, sure.
They were right. We should listen.
It's so hard to know what show suggestions to take people seriously on.
Mhm.
Succession did reach critical mass where we obviously both watched it, but like, yeah.
HBO is a more safe bet for me. They
Yeah.
tend to do like more
Definitely.
complex, artistic, beautiful stuff.
Definitely.
Not across the board, obviously, but they've had quite a few Grand Slams.
I think I'm quitting the half marathon.
You are?
Yeah, and here's why. I'm kind of.
But after your memoir, I am for sure running a half marathon that you published last week.
I know. I really
I
don't even get me started. But the reason why is because number one, my Fitbit broke last week at the river. So to do the half marathon,
How have you been counting your steps? Just like in your head, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
It's been a nightmare. My OCD is getting channeled into swallowing and other bullshit things. It's like, but anyway. So I'd have to buy another Fitbit, which is $150, and it's $115 at this point to register.
Who is
for the race.
bankrolling this?
So, and then I would need to get some kind of like probably MP3. I don't know. It's just like at least $250 to do the marathon, and I'm like, I just can't justify that. Like, it does seem like a cool experience.
You have to pay to run the marathon?
Yeah,
You have to pay $150.
$115, and then you obviously need like certain.
You can run around the block for free. Does anyone know that?
I know. So I'm like, it does sound like a really positive experience. But I'm like, I can't realistically do it without Fitbit because then I have no way to measure my pace or play music. Like, that's just not possible. So I'm like, $250.
Oh, you can play music from a Fitbit?
Yeah, you can. And
That
you're not allowed
is
to have like phones for
advantageous.
music in the marathon.
Oh.
Anyway, if anyone's a billionaire in the chat really wants me to do this half
We're
marathon.
looking just to add to our little team here, our little band of white collar crime fighting misfits over here. We're looking to add a ethical billionaire and an accountant,
As ethical clout
a business
chasers.
accountant.
Kaylee said, quit the half marathon. My Apple Watch broke and it was devastating to my workout plans. Yeah, thank you to everyone who's telling me to quit the marathon. Or one of you. I ran a Wine Mum 5K in a vineyard a few months, but that sounds ideal.
A Wine Mum
Ideal. A
5K? A 5K, that sounds perfect.
I can do 5K.
That sounds
like
awesome.
nobody's business right now.
Oh,
But I
yeah.
cannot do a half marathon.
Well, congrats on running 7 miles.
8. I did do
8. Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
I know, and I do.
That's a
feel
half.
I could see myself doing one in spring, or like I feel like I can keep up running at this point because I haven't been training that hard. It still would be kind of a stretch to do a half marathon in a month when it's like a fucking struggle to do 7 miles yesterday, and it's 13. Don't know if you know that.
Like hard on your knees, right?
My knees were killing after my run yesterday. Yeah, every time I do a long run, my knees are completely screwed. So I'm like, is it even healthy? When in life will I need to? I just feel like it's good for everyone to be able to run a few miles.
And I think like general fitness wise,
Yeah.
Like sprinting or
Such a bad
intermittent running
sprinter.
is just like better. I've heard.
I've never been good at speed running.
But I'm sure that varies by person. It's not a universal thing by all means.
Yeah.
Is there any prestige in saying that you're a quarter marathon runner? Could you try that?
Yeah, I'm gonna start saying that. That's really fun branding. What are some things you guys have quit in your life that felt like a little bit like, ooh, should I quit this? But then you did. And were you really like glad that you did? Do you regret quitting it?
Ooh, we got a little super chat.
Ooh, thank you, Nothing to Find. I'm pro half marathon. They're fun and not as hard as you think. You can go at any pace, but this doesn't have to be your year as well. Yeah. I do think it would be a really cool experience. I have been training at a ridiculously slow pace, like 5.5 miles an hour mostly.
Does anyone know what register means? Someone's calling you.
No, it's not real.
Okay.
Dawn, I've quit pretty much everything I've ever done. Songs of Sears, grad school. So glad.
Yeehaw! I'm a big fan of quitting.
Yeah, let's celebrate quitting today.
Yeah. Strategic quitting.
Strategic quitting.
Too many people stuck in sunk cost fallacies. You know what I'm saying?
I think that was even how I felt about the marathon. But then I was like, there's literally no downside that you've like been able to run a bunch of miles in recent weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, it just kind of was becoming something that was hanging over my head, and I don't know.
You gotta get such a rush from like officially quitting a marathon. That's gotta feel good when you finally do it.
I think because I wasn't training hard enough, it's not like, oh, thank God, because I was already kind of training intuitively. But yeah, I do feel kind of like I can, it does feel like a little bit of weight off my shoulders. So yeah, I quit my master's at BYU, no regrets. Yay, congrats. I dropped out of med school last year after failing behind and trying to catch up for 3 years. Was amazing and finally have a job I enjoy again. Yay. Dawn, quit my last 2 jobs. These are our people.
Whoa,
These are our people.
nice.
I'm going back to grad school, but not with the same advisor or even same topic. Yeah, I mean, as Jeffrey R. Holland taught us, going down the wrong road is what can help us find the right road. Also, did you hear that Jeffrey R. Holland's in hospital?
I did hear that.
Yeah. Right after his wife died.
Rip
I feel like
Patricia.
that. My grandma died a month after my granddad died on my mom's side.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's common in older people. Like once your partner's gone, it's like
It's gonna be so hard to lose a lifelong partner.
And what's- I know,
don't care who you
exactly.
are. That is like tragic.
Brutal.
As shit, yeah.
And it's like, what's Jeffrey R. Holland got to live for? He thinks the next life's going to be way better anyway, and he just has to do boring church stuff all the time.
Constantly being harassed by people who want him to stop using gun metaphors.
His fists are exhausted, and he deserves a rest.
Yeah.
Hi, Ray. LED lighting says, quitting my job soon. Absolutely cannot wait. Cupcake. As an ADHDer, me too. I quit many things by forgetting I ever did them. I'm not really a forgetting ADHDer.
No,
No.
I am for sure.
But I have systems in place, so maybe that's why. Like if I didn't have like a planner on my phone and know that where I track everything I have to do, then yeah, I would forget a lot. So maybe.
Sorry, my phone is now recognizing my face,
Oh my
which
God.
is great.
Your phone has recognized sentience in the aliens.
Mm-hmm. I knew Mark would come through for me.
Mm.
I just pulled up this thing talking about how, according to several Mormon writers, such as Cleon Skousen, author of the Communist Manifesto, which we've discussed recently, it would be fun to go through that book because it is a
Wait,
whack
isn't the
job.
Communist Manifesto
Excuse me, not the Communist. The Naked Communist.
Okay.
Thank you. He says that the Earth was created near Kolob over a period of 6,000 years. Then it was moved to its present position in the solar system. That's just way easier to believe.
Like when you see those like entire houses on the freeway.
Yeah,
Just
God's
like that.
just across the intergalactic interstate.
It makes
just like,
sense
let's
to
go.
produce somewhere else. I just think.
The whole like you guys ever hear the one about dinosaurs that they say, well, our Earth was made from other Earths, so it came from an Earth that dinosaurs had lived and died on. And it's like, okay, but then how did those dinosaurs get there? Again, evolution, right? You just push the commentary one step back and to avoid it. But it's like, okay, well then you admit that dinosaurs sprung up in that Earth at that point. It's like, wow, no. It says, in the temple, he says, yonder is matter unorganized. Unorganized. You think dinosaur bones are organized? No. Get a dictionary.
My name is Brother Michael Chadwick, and the dictionary definition of...
No, I think carry on. See it through to its natural end. You don't know what could have come out.
LDS Church Apostle Bruce R. McConkie, God, that guy sucked, came to a different conclusion, arguing that during the first day of creation, not necessarily a 1,000-year day in Kolob. Isn't it great how like days don't mean days, wife doesn't mean wife, translation doesn't mean translation? In a world where all things are possible with God, anything can be anything. What's more fluid than age? God.
That line
Tim
just
Ballard.
is like in my head all the time.
Yeah, right.
It's like, it's just the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
The idea that Earth was formed elsewhere than migrated to orbit around the sun does not accord with the scientific understanding. Yeah, you could say that again, but neither does any Mormon teaching. Oh, Skousen speculated that Kolob is a star at the galactic center, Sagittarius A, of our own galaxy. Cool. Right here in our own backyard. How sweet is that? Joseph Fielding Smith prophesied that we would never get to the moon. That was, of course, previous to the moon landings. I wonder if he changed his tune or if he just amplified conspiracy theories about the moon landing.
Why aren't more Mormons, some of them are, but why aren't they kind of universally the moon landing wasn't real conspiracy theorists, given that their own prophet said man will never go to the moon? I mean, come on, this is basic stuff. Like you're doing like that's a justification that would make that one makes kind of sense for you guys.
That one doesn't seem like a quote that they're trotting out in the manuals.
Sure.
They're trying to keep that one.
Oh, because I guess other people have gone to, like the Russians have gone to, so then you'd have to be like all the moon landings were fake, which is a tough nut to crack.
Yeah. And I guess that kind of buys it. That's into the UFO thing. It's like, are the UFOs real aliens Are they international projects with technology that we don't understand yet?
Yeah,
That wouldn't surprise
that's
me.
what I lean towards most of the time. Like the skeptic in me is like, it's just something Russia or China or some other advanced nation has made that we just can't comprehend yet.
Well,
knows?
they say that they found non-human,
Non-biological life forms.
non-human. I think human was the
Oh, really?
specific, or was it non-biological? How could you have non-biological life?
Or were they calling them biologics? Or were they calling them non-biologics? Can't remember.
I don't remember. Somebody who's on top of all the alien goss.
We're
hit
not
us
here
up.
to be on top of the alien
not
goss.
it.
We're just here to put out positive vibes towards the aliens.
This is Friday.
For
This
the
isn't-
eventuality when they come.
If we're gonna try, it's gonna be on a Tuesday. We're not even gonna try that. This is
Yeah.
just for fun.
Friday's our off day.
I hate how everyone is going off on us about how we're not allowed to have fun. That's not happening. I'm just kidding, guys.
Oh, do you ever just want to delete your entire social media because it causes you so much embarrassment?
Not the entire one, but maybe like specific platforms. Non-human biomass or something. Yeah, maybe that
Okay,
was it.
non-human biologics.
Also interesting that there was a person who grew up, around 14 years old, hearing the prophet Joseph Smith speak, and about 40 years later, he told the story about how Joseph used to teach that there were people on the moon, and they were dressed like Quakers, very tall. So it's kind of funny. Oh, and apparently in Brigham Young's patriarchal blessing, it said that he would teach to the inhabitants of the moon, which is
Do we know how
just
tall
so fun.
Joseph Smith was?
Yeah, I think he was like 6'2" or something.
Really?
Yeah, tall guy.
How tall was Joseph Smith? He was about 6 feet tall. Okay, how tall was Brigham Young? Because he kind of, I could
Brigham
see
Young,
him
I think,
having
was-
short man syndrome.
I think he was like 5'10". I think I've looked it up before.
Brigham Young was 5 feet tall.
No.
No. Wilfred H. Mummery puts him at 5'10". Nope. These apparently 5'8" is closer.
5'8" is closer?
Yeah.
According
and then
to
some
who?
people are saying as low as 5'6". It doesn't seem like it's concrete, but he's not talking. We can say that.
No, not like Joseph Smith was.
It's like, wasn't Ron Hubbard tall and David Miscavige is tiny?
That actually, yeah, I think that actually is true. I don't know how tall Ron Hubbard is, but I think David Miscavige is on the shorter side. But so is Tom Cruise. So
Okay.
it seems like small man syndrome out the wazoo over there.
We have
As a short king, you gotta learn to be a king and not a feisty little
You've never had to
bugger.
learn. It's always been in you. We have an anonymous super chat who said, "Just logged on. You both look fab."
Aw, thank you.
Thank you for supporting the channel. We really appreciate it. If you just got here, we're doing, we always read out super chats, but we also read out Venmo messages because YouTube takes a percentage of your money. So if you prefer, we have Venmo, and we appreciate all your support. Did they wear heels? Yeah, did men wear heels? I feel like men did used to wear like.
Oh, men invented heels. I mean, heels were
yeah.
invented for men for riding.
But for what?
For riding, like keeping your foot in the stirrups.
Oh,
According to a Loke.
cool.
Who's done a lot of study in the history of gendered fashion and whatnot.
Oh my god, my dad and brothers helped build the Skousen Center in Duck Creek, Utah. Then it exploded while I was in the shower and we had to rush out of the building in 15 feet of snow.
What?
That's a
That
story.
is a
Oh my god.
sentence. Duck Creek Skousen Center blew up. I mean, checks
In the
out.
sh-
That place is
I
probably like
have
loaded to the brim with
nightmares.
firearms.
Situations where you're in the shower and then something crazy happens and you have to run out. And in Utah, 15 feet. Ugh, I have like nightmares about things like that happen.
Oof. No, thanks.
Oh, until very recently, there are 1/4-inch heels on all boots and often higher. I meant shoes.
Ah.
So are we going more alien stuff?
I mean, I'm just digging around at the screenshots I
Yeah,
have.
I'm
Some of them
curious.
are me kind of taking little sexy pics, half the alien on, half off. Know what I'm saying? Patrons, if
yeah.
you want this, or
You
Hit me on
actually could drop
Venmo.
stuff like that on Patreon.
Oh God, I got a bunch of. Did you see the Rudy Giuliani quotes?
No. About
mean,
aliens?
No, he's been subpoenaed. This is totally unrelated.
Oh,
but,
okay.
he'd been subpoenaed and
Oh, this is
is
Trump's
in
lawyer.
court,
Yeah, okay.
and former mayor of New York City, and is being charged with sexual harassment. And they have like audio transcripts. It's like, "Come here, Mrs. Big Tits, you're mine. Let me rub your big old tits."
They have audio transcripts of that?
Yeah,
How?
yeah. From her, I guess she recorded them.
Whoa.
I'll be posting that on our Instagram
Can I
later.
hear
You can read the transcript.
Can I read it now?
Sure.
Sorry, I'm curious.
Yeah. It's a Friday fun day. We can do whatever we want.
Yeah, we can.
Oh my god, I have to go through so many great pictures of me skating last night.
That did look beautiful.
Oh my god, I have so many screenshots from floodlight.org. You guys follow them? They basically post every known instance of LDS sexual abuse,
Oh god.
and it is harrowing.
Just constant. I
And
imagine.
all of them are like, Bishop knew, did nothing, encouraged not to report to the police, blah blah blah. Abuser continued abusing for 17 years. Oh, here we go. Rudith Juliana.
I can. I got you.
You got.
Oh, it's Rudy. How do you pronounce his last name?
Giuliani.
Giuliani's former assistant is suing him for sexual abuse and harassment. Oh, that's why she has audio files, probably, because if she was his assistant. Oh my god! This is him saying to his assistant, "Come here, big tits. Come here, big tits. Your tits belong to me. Give them to me. I want to claim my tits." Oh, I hate seeing inside the psyche of these men with repressed sexuality, but they like fucking grow. Oh, it just sounds like a teenage. I want to claim my tits. I want to claim
Bring
my
your
tits.
big mommy
These are
milkers
my
over
tits.
to me. I'm like,
Miss Dumphy, oh yeah. Those breasts belong to me. No one else can get near those, okay? I don't care if they're flirting or give you business cards. They are mine. You got it? Ugh. Yes. Understand? I'm very fucking possessive. I've gone easy on you. I don't know. I've been easy on you. You're pretty tough on me. I've been easy. Oh, fucking hell.
Jesus, yeah.
Ah!
Did you see the
What does he
Borat
even
movie
look
where
like? I
they
need to
went in
Google
and
him.
kind of set him up for? It's
Well,
just
actually, I probably
so-
did, but what's the bit?
It was a reporter went in, very young looking, and
Oh,
was
he's so
basically like
gross.
setting him up, like flirting with him and seeing if he would like. And he was started to get really like, you could tell he was into it, and then Sacha Baron Cohen ended up like running in to stop it because like, we can't
Oh.
actually do this.
This feels like a person who looks like this who says that stuff. It feels like a film
But
from
look
the
at-
20s.
look-
Like I can't believe that's real.
Look at this picture of him. It's so funny.
Like how is that a personality that still exists?
Oh, it's
Like,
it's this
it
old
feels like
guard Trump.
fiction.
Like, of course, he's Trump's lawyer. Like, it all makes sense. It's these old types who like they used to just be that. So
Tana,
And
a
they don't-
few stitches with conductive thread at the end of that finger would help you with your phone access.
nice.
Ugh! I've never seen shorts worn in a worse way ever. I've never seen shorts look so bad. Ugh. Who was his dad? Like, was he born into wealth?
I think it was Judy Giuliani. I don't know. I don't know what his story is, but it
little
can't
man.
be. It can't be good.
Ugh.
So yeah, that's Rudy Giuliani.
Is there any chance he'll like go to prison or anything for that? Or
Oh yeah, I mean he's been disbarred, right? Like New York State disbarred him.
as a lawyer?
Yeah,
that makes sense.
because he was like he wrapped up in all the Trump scandals.
Yeah.
But I hear they're all getting back together to try to get Trump back on board. So isn't that fun? You can all avoid prison if you're all in it together. It's great.
Literally, how are we going to survive the next election? I
don't know. I have my
like,
passport.
I'm not
ready.
ready. It's
It's
so.
gonna be harrowing. It's
You want to like keep up with what's going on in the world, but then it is so impossible to keep your nervous system in a good place. Like, and it's not like fucking easy under Biden either. But I just feel like when Trump was president, it was like every day it was like the most horrific thing that has ever happened in politics in your lifetime was happening.
yeah, totally.
Ugh.
We're just like, what has the horse in the hospital done today?
Yeah. Well, thank you, Janelle, for the Venmo super chat. They said, ew, it's like some weird Discord kitten shit, except in real life. So gross. What's Discord kitten? I'm
No
Googling.
idea. I don't want to know.
Thank
My
you so
nervous
much.
system doesn't need to know.
Discord kitten. Oh, a girl who just wants to cash out from saying ooh woo. Do you get that reference?
Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah. Cool.
We had a whole ooh thing years ago, didn't we?
Did we?
Standing in
No,
front
we
of
didn't.
Four Seasons. Yeah, during the Mormon Bachelor, right?
What?
Around that time.
What do you mean we had an ooh woo thing?
We did a uwu versus
Oh yeah,
some
we
other
did,
thing.
but why did we?
I think it was just a
Maybe someone was just
fundraiser.
asking us in the chat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh, Ron DeSantis, jeez.
How did we dodge
Right.
him?
I don't know if he's just because he's kind of falling out of favor. Everyone is like he was kind of like a Rick Santorum, like where people are like, oh yeah, it's great, let's bring him on board. But then like the more everyone's like, they're like, damn, this guy sucks. But who knows? You know, we have a penchant for just selecting the worst types of people to run the country. Honestly, if Biden gets arrested, I'm like, great, bye.
But it's not really great because in the grand scheme of things, well, number one, if Biden's only getting arrested, that's problematic.
No, I mean,
But-
if they arrest Trump and then arrest Biden, if Trump didn't get arrested and Biden did,
Sure.
I'm like, what the fuck?
Did you
But they did both.
see?
It's like,
But can you name something that, I mean, other than the fact that this whole fucking system is like brutal, imperialist, and the military-industrial complex is, you know, all those
the
things.
Hunter Biden crime family is at work here.
Okay, I guess I'm not too clued in, but did you see Chelsea Handler's video that she made?
Mm-mm.
Oh, well, she did a video talking about, it's basically just the whole thing of like, if Trump or a conservative gets in again, we can expect to see more Supreme Court stacking. Like,
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a nightmare.
Biden isn't actively trying to take away lots of different groups of people's rights as much as he sucks, and it's a shitty choice. Like, it's so shit, 'cause it's like we need to be in like a better place for people to feel safe voting for a third party candidate so we can like get away from this fucking system.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so like this or that right now, and the cost of accidentally letting it go, that is so high, and like it genuinely will affect so many people's rights and, you know, the environment so much. And even though there's
Crazy that in 2000 Al Gore actually won. He won the popular vote. I think that was just kind of over at that point. They were just like, fuck it. No, we're going to put an oil guy in. He's going to take us into wars in the Middle East to enrich our oil companies.
What do you
And it
mean
was just
Al
kind of-
Gore won?
Al Gore won the popular vote.
Oh,
And he was like
against
a
Bush?
bona fide environmentalist. Like,
Mm.
you know, I don't know anybody else. Not even like Ralph Nader. He's got his own stuff. But like Al Gore was doing it. And then they were like, no. And it's just kind of, I mean, it's been a steady slide before then. Certainly Reagan era, dare I say.
Well, I imagine once the oil people who pretty much run America started realizing that the public was starting to care about the environment, they immediately had to start spreading propaganda that, you know, not saying the truck thing originally, but just everything, like the whole like aesthetic they created around like trucks and meat and not caring about the environment and then
individual responsibility,
saying that climate change is like a feminine thing and not even real, and just all of it. Yeah, I do still believe in individual responsibility.
Sure.
I don't think it's either or.
No. I think the best systems like are a blend of collective and individualism.
Yeah.
And even if it's for your own just like personal sanity and the way you orient to the world, you have to like be
you
the
have
change
to have
you wanna see
some
in the
kind of
world. That's it.
values that kind of anchor you, because otherwise if you kind of view success if you see success as what outcomes you sort of achieve or get to have, I feel like that's kind of a losing game. But I'm a big fan of like values based goals, so it's just like, how do I want to show up in different situations according to my values,
while giving yourself and others leniency. I think especially for those of us coming out of like high control groups where you have these like extremely exaggerated black and white views of the world, and it's like, you know, this purity complex about things, and you leave Mormonism and it's very easy to have like bring that same purity complex into new shit, whether of any type. I felt it. And then the problem is once you start unraveling that stuff, you're like, oh shit, we're all just part of like hyper consumptive systems that are eating the planet alive. And there's going to be a reckoning for that. Like there already is. There's already people who are losing their homes to climate change, millions of refugees, like
losing their lives.
And
I saw that in my friend who's like a social studies master's degree, something in that field, but sociology and politics or something. He posted these survey results that said 85% of Democrats believe that climate change is a big deal, and it's like 8% of Republicans or something crazy.
I mean, it just sucks that like conservatives, Republicans recently have been so like anti-education,
Yeah.
and it's precisely because of that. It's like if you can keep people uneducated, they don't learn how the world works, then they're just afraid and they stick to their religion, their guns, their God, and their religion, and once
Yeah.
everybody else is an enemy, and they're trying to corrupt our kids and blah, 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 blah. It's stuff out there, and you gotta have some. You gotta. I sometimes when I drive my car, I'm like, or I fill up my tank of gas, and I'm like, am I responsible for the deaths of 100,000 Iraqi civilians who were killed in the name of the oil industrial complex?
No.
Should I be biking instead? I mean, kind of, a little bit, yeah.
Well,
It's not as again cut and dry, black and white as that, but it's like, oh shit, I am a part, and because I genuinely need to. It's kind of like with eating. It's like all plants are beings. Cats are beings, cows are beings, and there's different expressions, manifestations, and spectrums of awareness, consciousness, sentience. But the fact remains that in order for us to live, we have to kill another being that doesn't want to die. Plants don't want to die. They recoil at harmful stimuli, and
yeah, but they're not a who in the same way.
but they're not a
that
who
an
in the
animal
same
is.
way an animal is.
I wish you could experience the moral superiority of driving a 10-year-old Prius. Oh, I mean, thank God I can just be completely unconerned about my
what
carbon
godforsaken
footprint.
process creates the Prius?
I know, but it's 10 years old and it's going
Sure,
strong.
sure.
So it's like, yeah, we'll, yeah, I mean, I know you know this and it's obvious point, but it's like, yeah, like riding a bike would be superior to driving a car. But also you live in a society that essentially demands that you drive a car. Like you don't have all the time in the world. Like you're already like struggling to make ends meet. Like it's not, and also it's going to be such an insignificant difference that one is just kind of like, I don't know. You kind of don't have choices. And so like you do have a choice, but it's also like comes at such a cost.
And I really am a believer in gradual changes. I feel the same way about veganism because I've never been like, I am a vegan and I'm like never again. Like I've never been like that either. No, and you're way better at it than me. I just
say vegan because like it's I mean I do. I only buy vegan stuff, but it's I
mean I'll I eat meat occasionally and I try to stay with chicken. Beef is the one that I'm like I just have a tender place in my heart for cows.
But like fuck the birds,
Fuck the birds.
Not really.
Not really.
But over cows.
But it's like I recognize that. I mean, the studies show that most people who go vegan go back within the first year, right? Because it's hard to make that transition, especially when you're just like not used to making it, not used to buying. Like you're just it takes a lot to change the way you do things.
I really think that I really believe in the whole. If we can have like 99% people eating vegan 99% of the time, that is so much more impactful than like 1% being able to do 100% of the time.
Yes.
And I think people get so hung up on the all or nothing with veganism that they quit. And so then they swing really far to the other side. And that's why I have always been the type of vegan. Some vegans wouldn't claim me as a vegan because of this, but I just try to only ever buy vegan stuff. But if I'm like at someone's house and like someone orders a pizza, I might eat some. Like I won't like be advocating for that pizza to be bought. I'll be like, we should get you know what I mean? Like sometimes you just, if I'm somewhere else and like someone else is providing the food, I have flexibility there.
Me too.
Because I just think
I say I'm a freegan in that.
I wouldn't have been able to be as vegan as I have been for 6 years if I would have had an all or nothing mindset. Because eventually you're just like, it's too hard that it's like I can't. It sucks never being able to like socially eat with
Yeah.
So I'm just.
You make people feel bad if they made you something.
There are so many people that I feel like they have to have that black and white mindset, and vegans encourage it and non-vegans encourage it. It's like we all have this idea that if you're anything less than 100% vegan, you're a hypocrite. And sure, on some like philosophical, theoretical level, that may be true, but it's like it's way better if you can be vegan, 99% vegan your whole life versus 100% vegan for 1 year and then you quit, which is what the data shows happens.
So if you're a app, doing it 100%, congrats, hell yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we have to have grace for ourselves and each other. And something that it gets pinned on the woke left as being like hypersensitive in cancel culture. I think that's genuinely bullshit. I don't think there's anybody more sensitive than conservative and who can't hear a new idea without a new thing in the world without being like, woke is destroying the world that I created in my head.
Like when we on this channel read like a super unhinged, like harmful thing that someone says, we don't jump to like the scum of the earth, like we're like, what are the systemic reasons that this person has developed these mindsets?
Totally.
You don't see that very often from the right, that, I mean, the most you'll get is like, wokeness is a mental illness. And that's the closest they come to systemic thinking.
So then I'm absolved morally,
Yeah,
I guess.
cool.
Like, nothing. Give me the vaccine then, I guess.
Yeah.
But I was going to say, I think it is again, we have this catastrophic story writing machine that is just going at all times, and it's either directed inward or directed externally, and it's easy to write narratives, and we all online culture, it's very easy when we're separated. There's that wall, the digital medium between us.
God,
we're just interacting avatar to avatar. It's so easy to just be like hypercritical and to have these purity complexes about you have to be the perfect socialist, leftist, whatever, and that like virtue signally, like if you're not 100% on all these things, you are actually the problem.
We get so many comments from people who are like ex-Mormon but conservative, and they're like, I don't think you guys have realized yet that you've just traded one cult for another. And I'm like, try to like hold us to really any belief. Like we're pretty fucking open. So like there are things we believe in and sort of stand by, but I feel like we can hear anything and be like, evaluate it. Like I feel like we don't like believe in our ability to know anything enough to be too rigid. I mean, obviously we can all get blind spots and get rigid, what I'm saying? Yeah.
I definitely have strong beliefs, but that I hold very lightly and that are totally like available for scrutinizing and for changing.
And
like
we
it's
really
just a model of the
believe
world,
they
and if
should be
someone's like,
scrutinized.
hey, here's a piece you're missing, I'm like, oh, thank you. Cool.
Yeah. We've got some Venmo super chats to read out.
Woohoo.
Thank you so much to William. That's really generous. William said, if the aliens teach us how to hop to other dimensional universes, like the one where Gore beat Bush, which one are you going to and who are you bringing with you? I'm going to the one where everyone stood by the Dixie Chicks after that speech at the concert. And it's just the Chicks for the rest of eternity.
Oh, wow.
Thank you so much, William. Also, Janelle said, I know it's not really related to your content, but I feel like you would both love reading The Big Myth and Merchants of Doubt if you haven't already. You're spot on with the propaganda take, but there's so much more. Ooh, screenshotting those comments so I can look that
title
up.
alone seems really promising.
Yeah, say no more.
One time this New Age kid told me this. I'm just gonna talk about aliens real quick.
Yeah.
It was like, alien actually means a lie. It's a lie by the government because a lie in.
I love
and
when
I was
people
like,
try to justify the roots of word. And I'm like, but that's not even where the word. They don't come up with words
like,
based on that.
Honey, let's talk about etymology.
I know.
But he was like a lion, and my other friend goes, who told you that? And he's like, what was your source on that? And he's like, Trish.
Who's Trish?
I don't know.
Normally, I like people with Trish.
I'm like, well, if Trish said it, it must be true as shit.
If Trish makes a good point, Trish makes a good point.
I'm imagining Trish as like a Kroger brand teal swan.
Stunning. Thank you to Liliana for the super chat. The difference is that you're able to think critically. Thanks for thinking that. What you see in us, you see in yourself.
I was thinking maybe a new tagline for us rather than like post-religious discourse. It's just like, think better, act kinder. Focus group.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be that.
Can't wait to see how the trolls use that again.
I never want to put kind as part of our thing because I'm like, I actually love having the right to be really
bitchy.
Yeah, exactly. To be just like,
unshame paradox within yourself. You're allowed to be a bitch and you're allowed to be deeply compassionate, and there is space for both. And if we try to repress the bitchy side of us, it's just going to come out in more dysfunctional ways.
Integrate it.
And then you become pious and annoying. It's better to just openly bitch sometimes. kind of.
Even if that looks like just flipping over a proverbial table in the middle of a conversation with a belligerent Mormon in the chat by saying, oh, big fan of Joseph Smith. Name 5 of his child brides. That's my just like.
Yeah, kind policing people are the worst offenders. Yeah, I think it's totally better to just be like, here's a way that we could all act kinder. But I feel like whenever people start like honing in on the individuals and being like, you're the one doing something wrong.
I do it as sort of a thought exercise when discussing, like talking things with believers. It's like, is that a very Christ-like approach? They're like, you don't even believe in Jesus. I'm like, but you do, and you're saying that you're his like
Yeah.
true representative on this earth, and that
Yeah.
should mean something.
Who's the Prince of Peace now, bitch? Thank you, Ray, for the Venmo super chat.
Oh, pretty
Always good
Prince
to have
of
you in the
Peace.
chat. Bernie's come to say hello.
Did Ray send another super chat?
Yeah, with alien emojis.
Damn, Ray. Thanks,
Yeah.
dog.
Yeah. Daddy Ray.
Sweet baby Ray. Deep greens and blues are the colors I choose.
I feel like when social media was first kind of really, not like, I just feel like in the early 2010s and even maybe it's honestly still going on the same amount. I just don't engage in it as much. But I just feel like everyone policing each other got so intense for a while, especially on Twitter. I feel like I couldn't say anything without someone calling me ableist in a way that like I just don't think was valid. And it was like them projecting a narrative.
Right.
Like you failing to give sort of an extenuating circumstance version that wasn't related. I don't know.
It'd be
you just
like,
couldn't say
you're like, I
anything.
went outside today and it was great. And someone would be like, that's so rude. Some people literally can't go outside. And it's like, totally. But me going outside isn't like a bad thing. It's
I don't
not like
think
being
that person
disrespectful
would
to
want
people
me
who
to
can't.
stay inside because they have to stay
it's like,
inside.
no, it totally sucks. And we should like, we want to help people who can't. But like, that doesn't mean no one should go outside.
Yeah. It's crazy how when I was younger, I used to just like get embroiled and stuff like that, not realizing
I
that
do
like some
every
people
day.
they're not interested in like I would always try and get them to see my logic and be like, no, I am a good person. Like you're just, but they don't.
That is my toxic trait. I will just go and go and go because I love the negative stimulus. I love the cortisol coursing through my veins. It gives me an edge, makes me feel like I'm alive.
Yeah.
In the way that I assume that only like skydiving could really.
I love that comment by Whitney. Even if we don't have an impact on the whole world, we can impact the creatures in our immediate sphere, and that matters too. A New Earth taught me each organism is unique and has intrinsic worth.
Oh, that
Like,
is such a good book. I love
vegetarian
that
or
book.
vegan. Yeah,
I
love
always
it,
think of
love
that Eckhart Tolle where he's like, and this is my mystical belief. You don't have to believe it. I believe the flower likes to be adored.
Oh.
I'm like, I think so too, Eckhart. I would never tell people that, but
Yeah.
in my heart, I kind of feel it.
I'm glad we got you to say it.
Well, watch the Mythbusters episode on plant psychism, where they
Oh.
literally like created this isolation chamber, put plants in it, and first, they would touch it, and they had it basically hooked up to like a lie detector, essentially, where they can read vibrational pulses on it, and they would like whack it, and it would. They had a leaf clipped somewhere else, and the leaf would be like ow, and then they again got it into this like isolation chamber, and then they would just think thoughts at it, like just imagining the plant on fire, and it would start, and you can see the thing. Now maybe they should do a few more scientific tests to weed out some bad theories there, but if we were to take that just at face value, we could say plants can tell something. They feel, they're perceptive of something. Our intentionality toward them. Are we connected through quantum mechanics? If all electrons and atoms that are enmeshed remain enmeshed forever, and if we all come from a singular Big Bang, doesn't that mean all atoms are perpetually enmeshed to begin with? Kind of makes you untangled. That's the real word. Sorry.
We have a Venmo super chat from Amelia who says, "Bringing joy via stream." Thank you. I'm glad we're bringing joy.
Chowder says, "I adore both of you, even though I disagree with much of what you
Love
say."
that.
Me
Love
too.
that.
And I would love to argue with you sometime if you feel up to it. Like, we don't have to get nasty. Be like, hey, remember you told me we could argue and not get nasty? And I'll be like, okay, let's do it.
Okay, but genuinely though, I think being able to feel love for people that you disagree with, that's it. That's like the biggest thing that we need as a species.
Oh, yeah.
I way more respect someone who has different ideas than me, but like is able to love people regardless of their beliefs because they see the humanity in everyone outside of that, than someone who's like on my side but is just a dick about it.
Yes.
So thank you. I like that comment a lot.
I was reflecting on my kind of exit from the church and realizing that like fundamentally there could theoretically have been a space, and there is like in maybe the Community of Christ or other progressive branches of Mormonism, where there's a space to acknowledge bad history, to contextualize scripture in such a way that a person wouldn't feel like existentially divided on like, is the church true or not? It could be like, we inherited these things. They're myths. They haven't always been good, but they're a part of our history, and we kind of integrate them into moving forward into a more progressive, holistic paradigm. And there could have been that, but ultimately, my experience in the church was I was learning all this shit, and nobody wanted to talk about it. The culture of Mormonism was such that you couldn't have a real conversation about real stuff. And that is like kind of, and at first I wasn't like mad at the church or church members. It was just like, whoa, guys, there's all this like really problematic stuff. And you kind of expect people to be like, oh shit, yeah, that's crazy. We should fix this.
You really do.
You're totally naive. And then you realize that you're getting like way more shit from believing Mormons for talking about stuff that is factual, just for talking about it, just because it's uncomfortable to them. And then they start demonizing you for just wanting to talk about it. And you find that's the problem with like intellectuals, the September 6th, the church excommunicating people who just for saying stuff that like really happened, for publishing like church documents, just because they're like, this goes against what we've been saying. So you're not allowed to tell the truth about it. And I think that persists in the culture today. I feel that often it's like kind of going back to the sensitivity thing. It's like, it's hard to have a real conversation with people who are just like, no, nothing that goes against, nothing that even hints at unraveling this belief structure that I've been handed. Like, I
think the tough thing about having sort of a post-literal view where you still can be like a part of a community is it is pretty hard when you find out that all the early leaders were child predators, and like there's just like no one really in history. It's like hard to respect anyone who was like involved in the creation of this church. And then it's just hard to find any ideas that are unique and worth it enough to. So it's like, I almost feel like that could only ever be a transition phase for people that like still need the community. But ideally, like, it just doesn't make sense for anyone to be like finding community in some version of Mormonism, because it's like we find community with people that are like us generally. And it's like, once you remove that, what do you really have in common? Well, the fact that you like used to belong to this, I don't know, it's not a very compelling reason for community if it's not literal, to be honest, because it's just all a bit shit and boring. And so, people have, I know Stockholm syndrome is not really real, but like they have like that version of that where they like they want the 3-hour boring meetings still, and they like want the dry clinical social interactions.
John Dehlin organizing Oasis in Morgan.
But it's like, I don't know, like, we really just it's just so stale that it's like, you might want that for a period of time, but I just wonder how many people would truly want that for long. Yeah. They're not even talking about the fun space shit in there. They're like, be nice to each other. Make sure you pay your tithing or you will be burned alive. And you're like, okay. Yeah. Didn't mean to do that. Thank you for opening my eyes that organized religions can be cults too. I found so much comfort. I found comfort with your videos and it helps so much. Oh, that's so nice to hear. I personally try not to agree with everything any one person says. Yeah. It's possible it's from the trauma of leaving the Mormon church, but I think it's important. And I really feel like when we unshame paradox in ourselves, that helps us do that. Because once you realize that, like, I am a person who really tries to be good, and like I have the value of kindness, and I have all these values, and like I know my heart, and there is still a part of me that sometimes comes out that isn't that is petty, that is angry, that is jealous, whatever the thing is. And so I feel like if you can recognize that in yourself, then instead of just constantly insisting that you're just a good person and making yourself one note, then you can be like, well, everyone's obviously like that. Like, there's no kind of Homo sapiens that doesn't contain multitudes. Because there's different forces acting on us at different times. And even just like where your fucking hormones are that day in the month can affect how you feel about other people and things. And the state of your gut microbiome. Oh my God, apparently we missed a super chat above. Uh-oh. Complimenting Bernie. Okay, Ashley. Thank you, Ashley. Dropping in to say your cat is adorable. He looks like a toasted marshmallow. He does. I've never thought of his coloring as that before, but that is what little Marlo. Glad I was able to catch a live stream. Thank you for all that you do. Thanks for the adorable comment, Ashley. Oh. Bernie's kind of being arrogant and choosing to not respond, but he's glowing inside. Yeah, he notices. He notices. He is such a precious of prince. Validation to be okay. As my biological son. I was just thinking about Sunstone for some reason. Our friend went there and was telling me something about it that
It was intriguing that I was gonna.
I think just that, or she was saying there was all different kinds of people, which was cool. Like,
Oh, because we were talking about community, and if it's
Mhm.
not literal, what does it matter?
Mhm.
She was telling me about somebody. There was like apparently a couple trans women who were in the community of Christ who were like, the community of Christ is so affirming, and we like have positions here, and they accept us, and it's so great. But then when the community found out that they were polyamorous, they got let
That
go from
was
their
the
position.
thing?
I know.
Oh
I'm
my God.
What? But it kind of
I
makes
could
sense,
see
like
that,
that.
though.
You know, the community of Christ has definitely like a super anti-polygamy background. But if you're like progressive enough to be like, yeah, trans people, but you're not progressive enough to like understand the difference between Mormon polygamy and modern polyamory, like that is so silly.
I still think there's obviously all kinds of different narratives people have about polyamory, but I do feel like a lot of people just think it's fundamentally unethical to not just pair up with one person forever.
Yep.
They see it as like you're just like you're a cheater basically, or it's like you're seen in that version, which is so strange when it's like between consenting adults. But yeah.
And most adults are, serial monogamous.
Right.
So it's like,
yeah. And like 65% of people cheat or something insane.
It's almost like that's when I read those quotes from Brigham Young, there was like, monogamy is the reason for the downfall of Rome. It's the reason for all these ailments and prostitutions and whoredoms of modern day society. And on the one hand, I'm like, shut up. And then on the other hand, I'm like, there is something to that. Not his version wasn't the answer to that, but the program of enforced patriarchal monogamy is like totally problematic. And we've been talking a lot about human trafficking recently, and as people who also have like part of my leaving the LDS church and was being like, holy shit, these people like do not care about sexual abuse, like they're not helping, and being involved in that and trying to understand what actually causes this. I think a lot of it is just like a bunch of fucking repressed ass monkeys who have been coerced and corralled into these programs where it's like, you're a hyper monogamous, you've got to marry this person at age 18, never look back, never look at anybody else, you can push down all flirting, and these like deeply powerful bodily and like existential forces are like just constantly seeking manifestation. But because people have to be so walled in, I think a lot of what ends up happening, because they don't have access to consenting adults with whom they would share that natural chemistry, end up essentially taking it out on people, on victims, on children, on youth, on minors, who they just are able to like, they're tempted by, or whatever excuse they want to use. And I genuinely believe that if we were to like loosen up on those patriarchal ideas of monogamy, that you're my wife and I own you and you're not allowed to have sex with anybody else,
or even just let people experiment more before they commit to one person forever.
Yeah, exactly.
Even
just that. Yeah, that's why everyone's relationship looks the same, and I'm not necessarily like bashing monogamy, but this like moralistic idea that we have about multiple partners and people just being, fucking human beings, Homo sapiens, like I think will be healthier, because it's not healthy to just like squash down. Like that was kind of the insight of Freud, was like he's interviewing all these like Victorian bourgeois housewives who are like miserable, and it's supposed to be this perfect ideal Christian society, but what he's finding out is like all the bad stuff has just been pushed into the corners, and women and children are taking the brunt of it and not being allowed to talk about it because they're stuck in the home.
So well said. Thanks for going on that rant.
Yeah.
That's really good. It says celebrate the first super chat from Sarah C. I didn't know. It tells us when someone has never super chatted before.
Whoa.
Sarah,
congrats.
What helps with my negative self-talk is the realization that the only person that will always be in my life is myself. So I should be my own best friend.
So true, bestie.
And then I think that says love you guys, but
I've been working on a video for years. It'll be funny when I kind of do it, when I publish it, because it'll show this like progression of year-long thing, but it's the process of me falling in love with myself and kind of like going through the steps.
Wait,
so, like,
is it every shade of green?
No.
Oh, it's a different thing?
Yeah, it's just like
I haven't heard about this.
It's also, there's like a it has a bunch of parody songs in it. It's really something. If I gotta brag.
Will you talk about it a little bit more where I take my Invisalign out and get a beer?
Yeah, but there's this parody part of my heart song right now is Shaggy's Angel. Shorty, you're my angel, you're my darling angel. And I sing it to myself all the time. I'm like, Shorty, you're my angel. You're my crimson, you're my clover, you're the only one with me till it's over, baby. And I think about the time when I die, and it's like, when I die, it's just going to be, everyone dies alone. You know what I mean? Even if there's people around, which that would be chill and cool. Don't get me wrong. I would love a peaceful death surrounded by loved ones. But even in that situation, that journey, that process, that letting go, whatever it is, that's just going to be me. And if I'm not cool with myself right at this second, I'm not going to be cool with myself then. Eternity is always in the present now. Who said that recently? I heard. Is like, people think about eternity as this like future thing or past thing, just in all directions, but it's not. Eternity is only now. The timeless, the future, the past don't exist. It's only right now. What is the state of your heart and your mind? Are you living in heaven? Are you living in hell? The kingdom of heaven is within you. Nothing's. I think I'm gonna give up alcohol for a minute, just see what happens. I'm like trying to, I don't even drink that much, but it would probably help me to not. And I don't like it enough. We'll see. I'll catch me going back on it next week or next time someone sends me $40 to take a shot, I'm just wishy-washy like that. What we do in the present affects the past and the future for sure. Definitely.
What does the Tao say? That like we do these pendulums, right? And it's kind of nice to try and get it so the pendulum swings are less aggressive over time, and we can kind of stay in that balanced middle more naturally. But I'm like, sometimes if you feel you've been drinking too much, it's nice to take like a period off, and then I just think everyone follow your heart with stuff like that.
Totally.
My goal is to be fucking eating berries every day. I'm so bad at eating fruit. I'm so good at eating vegetables and every other thing I'm supposed to eat. I'm so bad at eating fruit. And I know we're supposed to eat 1 serving of berries every day to not get cancer. That's my biggest concern right now. Is my lack of berry consumption.
Tim Ferriss says don't eat any fruit whatsoever. So
that's absolutely insane. That's such a stupid opinion, and that really lowers my respect.
Except for he has like a cheat day where you just go,
cheat day where you eat berries.
Eat fruit.
Berries once a day are one of the most
antioxidant.
Yeah, they are. Berries are like, there are no superfoods. But
I think it's the sugar content. Fruit
that's insane because your insulin doesn't respond the same to berries as it does like high fructose corn syrup. Like they've actually shown if you eat berries with a dessert, like a sugary cake or whatever,
which is delicious,
berries your insulin will spike less if you eat it with berries. And you'll actually can like absorb less calories in the dessert with the berries, even though obviously the berries are adding calories because of the impact on insulin. It's insane to not eat berries. That's all I'm saying. Like they really are.
Can we get Tim Ferriss on the line?
The studies on berries are incredible. Like,
this is just the very beginning.
I saw I haven't watched it yet, but a Tim Ferriss video came up on my YouTube feed this morning that was like, why Tim Ferriss is against optimizing anymore, or like is anti-optimization now. And I'm like, ooh, because I am looking forward to seeing more of an end of like the dominant narrative being like optimize everything.
We see, I think Tim kind of gets wrapped in with like the business bros, but he's not like he's helped me organize my life certainly, but his thing is like, how do you build a life around like traveling and like working less and enjoying more? And he did recently make a post that was like, if your whole life is just like stressing out to optimize, like that you're gonna have like a burned out, dissatisfying life. You have to learn how to chill.
Good.
Like actively chill.
He needs to get his shit together on the berry thing though. Okay, this comment is making me happy. Erin the Extra said, guys, I'm finally moving out of my abusive Mormon home, and you guys have been such a comfort to me while I've been stuck here. Thank you. That's the best comment. Congratulations. God, I can't even imagine the difference that will make to your nervous system. Even though transitions can still be like a thing.
It can be tough.
But like, wow. It's almost like when you remove like something abusive or just something that's a really negative force in your life, there's like a space that's created, and when you're like used to things being like negative a certain amount, it's almost like easy to create chaos to fill that space because I don't know, some part of you gets bored. So that's kind of like always the challenge when you remove something negative is, but I mean, amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I missed part of the stream to argue with my coworker about immigration.
Oh, nice.
Worthy.
Different kind of alien.
Yeah. Looking forward to a regulated nervous system. Yes.
And yes, we say undocumented immigrant
What do you mean?
instead of illegal alien.
Who said illegal alien?
I made an alien joke, but
I actually am like a resident alien. That is the official name of what I am.
Oh, how nice. And if you, well, I was going to make a UFO joke, but it wasn't coming in time.
Sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, I got it. Some of the UFOs got to be our military for sure, right? Like, they're just up to shit constantly.
Yeah.
Maybe some foreign stuff, but maybe aliens too. Maybe.
Yeah, aliens are one of those things. I almost don't find the topic as interesting as I almost imagine I would based on how I am about other things. I can't quite explain this. I do find it interesting, but it just feels so unknowable that even when we find something and it's yes, we definitely, the Senate said they're up, but I'm just but are there? Can we really know
a government that could lie to you about the non-existence of aliens could also lie to you about the existence of aliens.
And also just how many times throughout history have we thought something was something and then we're just whoa, it would just be crazy to think that we'd discovered enough to where we could truly know if something didn't come from our universe. I don't know.
The moving in when they have the videos of the things moving in patterns that aren't achievable by our current grasp on physics and machinery is interesting, but again, that could be foreign stuff. But we have we I don't know if you've seen our military budget recently, but it's upwards of $1 trillion now. Nobody is spending more on military than we are.
Can't wait for
Not
that
even
to be
close.
Turned around and used against the country's own citizens
Oh,
who are
yeah,
paying for
constantly.
it. That's
Yeah,
what's
great.
so fucked up.
That's
Oof.
great. Who is the guy who just modern day Oppenheimer who just resigned after helping create the AI algorithms that he says are just going to be used to destroy us?
At Google?
Yeah.
The creator of the sentient AI?
I don't know if it was that one or somebody else, but he basically saying
been a number.
well, if it wasn't me, somebody else was going to do it. And it's sure, but you didn't have to.
Yeah, I could have slowed it down. Thanks.
Aliens. Did we already talk about that Bill Clinton clip where he was it's I can't really say about that, but I will say, it will shake things up and it'll be a lot better for a lot of people.
That's nice though. I'm just say that, even if it's not, just say that.
Yeah.
Honestly, anything you can do to help people calm down a bit, I think is good for the nation.
Well, I don't know about anything because they're also Mormonism will help you calm down a little bit.
Sure, but does it? How regulated is a Mormon's nervous system? Mine wasn't.
Once they get back into the echo chamber and sing a hymn and just realize you actually don't have to know that faith is really all that's important. Then you
I get what you're saying.
You feel a little something.
But it's we all need to have the maximum amount of delusion that we can have without it making us bad at critical thinking. So what's the maximum amount of delusion we can have that can help our bodies, help us, enhance our experience, but not so much that we tip over into conspiracy theories that aren't helpful land. Yeah,
I gotta write news stories for ourselves, but again, holding them lightly and recognizing that there's some improv in there at all times. We're yes-anding here.
Yeah.
Alien tangent?
Yeah.
Okay. I think it's stupid that Mormons believe that God is a man like us when I see aliens in media that are humanoid in any way, it's oh, you're just a green person or a blue person. I'm
Usually
fucking right. Because I hate how religion makes us feel like we don't belong on earth, that we're something different, removed, that we're just put here. When it's if you just take everything at face value or really dig into it, you see that everything is just growing out of the earth and we are so earthly. There isn't a single aspect of myself that I've been able to identify that's oh, this is some inexplicable thing doesn't pertain to the world. Everything that I observe about myself, both my internal processes and just my external being, I'm earthly as shit. So the way that evolution works, it's always in relationship to external environments, right? That's how traits become manifested and more dominant, because it proves more conducive to the survival and propagation of a certain species. You know, a certain random color pattern helps it with a certain foliage that protects certain insect from certain predators, and so like everything, our nose shape, our eyes, our size as beings is relative to like the gravity of this planet, the water density of this planet, the oxygen levels of this planet.
Even eyes. It's like, how do we know that a being in another completely different environment would need sight to navigate things?
Yeah, or have eyes anything like ours,
They
because
could
there's
have
lots of different eyes,
completely
like
different
ultra red
senses.
light, the distance that a planet would be from their star,
Uh-huh.
different atmospheric gas levels would change what colors they were seeing. And so it's like something from another planet would be nothing like a human being, because human beings only evolved from like very specific circumstances here, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I think about like what human beings in the future would like if we got to space, and you know, in 100,000 years, I doubt we would be anything like humans.
I feel like we'd be like a boring gray box, or like just
maybe
like,
a boring
do
gray
you know
desert
what I mean?
aliens.
Like just something so. I just feel like all this stuff is so unknowable that anything we can conceptualize in our brains is not going to be it. And I feel like my sense with like aliens is like the truth is probably really boring and like mathematical in a way that we aren't able to understand. I'm not interested in. I don't know.
I've seen some mathematical, and I'm not super good at math, so I haven't been able to like check it and be like, wow, this is wrong. But I saw it posited by at least one TikTok person that citing a mathematician, of course, that like what we know of physics at this point, like, and the way that the universe is expanding so quickly, that the time it would take for like a person going extremely fast from this planet to the next one, already like things are moving so fast that you're just like constantly approaching but never getting closer to, because everything is just too fucking fast.
Yeah.
Unless you could go faster than light, which good luck. All right, if you know how to do it, hit me up. We can go on a little light ride.
I'm glad someone thinks we're entertaining. Alien Towner is just trying to throw us off his scent.
Yeah.
I think if there were aliens,
He's not real. He's not real. That man is not real. Did you see that lady?
No.
A lady on a plane freaked out and was like, "That man is not real."
Just a random guy on the plane.
Yeah.
Oh.
I think she was maybe medicated or
I was gonna
drunk
say
or something.
what mental condition would cause
But,
that?
TikTok, QAnon TikTok.
Oh, are they saying certain people aren't real now?
Oh, once in a while, I'll watch a weird video or comment on a weird video, and then I'll get like all this conspiracy TikTok, and I'll be like, oh shit, we're fucked. Like I've been in my own echo chamber,
Yeah.
and then it's like, oh, people are just not critically evaluating anything. They'll just be like, half the people I see are fucking aliens, and the comments are all just like, it's so true. I've seen so many aliens today.
Wow.
And that is a bit scary.
What a great way to dehumanize.
Exactly.
Oh.
Anytime you can, like, dehumanization is like first step of genocide, right? Like those people are subhuman or not real human. They're some
Remember when
other
they said Joe
thing.
Biden was Trump in a skin suit? That one was really out there.
The one that's so dumb is like Michelle Obama is a trans man. I'm like,
even if she was, who gives a shit? But also, Simply Bet said, I heard she was drunk and accusing the black man next to her of stealing from her when she dropped her earphones, and that somehow turned into saying the man's not real. Maybe that's their new go-to. When
only an alien would steal headphones. It is known.
Like as if they would need headphones. Don't they have like massive ears usually?
Or no ears.
Or no ears. They never need.
I think there's a case to be made for aliens being smaller, as they would being more compact.
Yeah.
I could see the little green or little grays or whatever. They also say that there's a race of really tall white people.
Aliens could be like microscopic. That's the other thing. It's like just our perception of the fact that there would be something in the realm of like a mammal size.
That's exactly what every time I'm like, why do you think?
Like they could be all around us, and like we aren't trained to be able to see them. We haven't evolved to be able to see them.
Yeah.
This rabbit hole goes so deep. so deep.
Oh, and that's the other thing is like we're just talking about beings that may be living in this spatial realm, but a lot of people in the alien discourse space are talking about interdimensional intelligence, which is a whole different fucking ball game. Like, how do you even begin wrapping your head around that?
Rick and Morty is so good.
Rick and Morty is good. It's
Noth-
unfortunate what's gone down.
Nothing to Find said, part of how we appreciate ourselves and understand ourselves is by relative comparison to something other. So comprehending aliens helps us to better put into perspective the strengths of humans. That's a good comment. I also love the idea of somehow aliens uniting us as a species.
Ray just said, have you read Project Hail Mary? Is that the one essentially that it's like the government stages an alien attack and is able to unify humanity in a globalistic government?
Do you know what Speaker of the Dead is?
Yeah, that's a sequel to Ender's Game, a really great book written by a believing Mormon writer, Orson Scott Card, but honestly, phenomenal, top tier science fiction. Our departed friend Dio, it was his favorite book, Ender's Game.
Really?
Yeah, Luke told me yesterday.
I feel like that was one I so nearly read as a kid and then didn't, or a teen or whenever, and never ended up reading it. I feel like that one was in just like in the realm of something I would have read, but just like never ended up reading. And I always am like, have I read it? And I just don't remember. I don't think I have.
Speaking for the ones after Ender's Game, I think about them all the time. They're really they're an interesting series. They surprisingly get into like what is life and consciousness a little, not like, I'm sure a book written today would have a little bit more, but for the time that it was written, like as a Mormon, got me being like, whoa, interesting.
What's everyone's favorite books as of late? I've been trying to get Tana to listen to I'm Glad My Mom Died because I just think it's so good and Tana would love it. Currently, I'm reading a book called Fireworks Every Night, which is part of Jeanette McCurdy's Instagram book club she's doing. I just love hearing about people's book preferences. Dresden Files is so good. Ooh.
So Ray said I was off about Hail Mary. I don't know what that is then. If you could tell us, that'd be great. Project
Hail Mary.
Dresden Files.
Has anyone heard of the Mortal Engines series? If so, let me know in the chat.
Yeah, it was just, I heard lots of good things about Brandon Sanderson. Longtime friend of the channel, Alex Crandall.
Oh, it looks like Project Hail Mary is related to The Martian.
Oh, interesting. Oh, I think I did read a little bit about that.
That was the film, right? That was really good. Oh, yeah. It's there's The Martian, Project Hail Mary, and Artemis.
Cool.
I could see that being really good.
Yeah.
$89.
Anyway, Alex composed. There apparently in one of the Brandon Sanders books, there's like a lullaby and there's lyrics written for it, and Alex composed a song for it. And Brandon Sanderson heard it and was like, "This is awesome!" And then the Prague Orchestra performed it, which is so cool.
So cool.
Wish Alex was here.
He normally is.
Did you
hear that Sinead O'Connor died? Do you know much about Sinead O'Connor?
I did. Jesus.
I didn't know anything about Sinead O'Connor. It's so crazy that she just died because about maybe 2 months ago, I listened to a You're Wrong About podcast episode about so she was like some Irish kind of like rock and roll girl.
Yeah.
She went on, I don't remember what the show was.
Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, and like burned a picture of the Pope because of the child abuse.
She sang Bob Marley's War.
And then she just got completely kind of canceled. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying about the right. It's like you think woke people invented cancel culture. I've never seen anyone who's been truly canceled. Like at most it's been like held accountable for sexual assault, and then you go back to your like super successful business as a stand-up comedian saying trans jokes. It's like, oh, nice.
The Dixie Chicks also did by a lot of measures get canceled. Like their income was gone, like their success was just kind of over at that point, even though they've sort of,
Yeah, but she was like straight up canceled. Her they made fun of her. Joe Pesci the next night was like, I would have slapped her. It's like, oh great, physically assaulting someone for calling out child abuse. Awesome.
And then everyone saw his episode as like the more like, I don't know, she was seen as like the out there rebel and just off the rails, but then saying you would have slapped a woman on TV, that was fine. That was keeping in line with what it's insane.
Oh, we're gonna do another episode about human trafficking, certainly, just because I dug too far in and now I can't get out, and now like there's just always
so much
stuff popping
is going on,
and it's so real. Yeah, the guy, the financier of Sound of Freedom, just got arrested for child kidnapping.
It's like the Sound of Freedom is raising awareness of human trafficking and child abuse, and from within the members of the people fighting it too. That's what's so crazy. Like the fact that they made that film has drawn attention to these people that weren't ready to withstand scrutiny because they have fucked up things going on.
Mm-hmm.
Oof. Is it? Never mind. Let's move on.
Yeah, we don't have to talk
We'll
anymore
save
about
that for video.
yeah,
3.
yeah. I'll do. I had a little thing, but we don't gotta do it. This is a fun day, Friday family love stream.
And human trafficking videos are hard to watch.
They are hard to watch. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's keep this light.
Yeah.
Please.
Mm.
Do you hope to see an alien in your lifetime?
I'm kind of indifferent. Again, I just really don't. I don't know. I guess just so many things almost bore me because I just feel like we are wired in a certain way and we have the ability to like live according to our needs and wants in a way where we could really thrive and like bask in the beauty of this earth, and we don't.
Mm-hmm.
And so it just feels like all these other things are like side quests that kind of just distract us. But I'm not a purist like that.
Sure.
But, you know.
But it is so like speculative.
Yeah.
That it's almost...
I'm like more compelled by like, I don't know, like what can we do right now to like make everything nicer for everyone?
Mm-hmm.
Healthcare
Healthcare could be
fucking
chill.
healthcare. I was thinking we could pull a card and everyone could answer in the chat, just as like a fun little game we can all play together right now. As you watched us play this game drunk together last week, I'm like, let's get you guys involved. It's more fun to read more answers for different things. So
just gotta say, favorite alien movie, Arrival, of course.
Oh, that was
Sound off
really
in the
good.
chat. So good.
this is such a nice one. Okay, everyone type your answer in the chat. What's been your happiest memory this past year?
Oh, what's been...
I can't say the Lake District anymore because that was last July, because that would have been probably my answer. But now we are August 4th. So since last August.
Barbie movie day was a great day.
It was a really good day.
Fun day.
That was like in my top 50
days.
yeah, of the last year.
Wow.
No, maybe
You've
like
got some good
top
ones.
30.
California was fun.
Happiest memory.
Happiest memory of the last year. Let me look.
California was really fun. The Taylor Swift concert was really fun.
Our live streams, for one.
It's kind of, I always get kind of overwhelmed when something's like the superlative, like what's the happiest?
I know. I always try to say, like, what's one of the...
Yeah, just think of a happy memory from the past year, whatever one jumps out. Okay, Kelly said, happiest memory, hiking to Lake Agnes in Banff, which has a tea house at the summit. Oh my God.
That sounds awesome.
I would kill
I've always wanted to go to Banff.
Me too. It's been on my list for years. Okay. Is it Aisling? Ailing? Said, it's Ash, but first day of grad school and my sweetest send-off. That was one of my top days of the year as well.
Yeah, that was so fun.
Ray said, I went to a weekend of board games and TTRPGs. What is that? That is something role player.
It's a titty role-playing game.
Sorry, we don't know. In holiday, and gave a Temple Square tour with 2 Exmos to 2 Nevermos. It was very cathartic. Oh, fun. Oh, Celine said Kilby Block Party.
I was just going to say, I just saw a picture.
I didn't go to Kilby Block Party, but the rain lightning storm that happened on the last day when I was walking around, that was one of my happiest memories.
So fun. The Friday night of like Pride weekend, the drag show I went to, Ash took me to a drag show and it was so good. That was really fun. That was a highlight.
Lime Cordial concert and new maple trees planted in front yard were both super happy for me.
I think planting plants is just the best.
A hummingbird came to my balcony this morning and went for my flower.
You're so high up too.
I know.
That means other people probably have stuff on their balconies for them to...
Not as good as mine.
Oh,
my flowers are popping. A happy memory from this year, getting to hold my best friend's newborn baby just a few days after he was born. Liliana, reconnecting with a friend after 20 years.
Whoa, that's a long time.
Ray, tabletop role-playing games, basically D&D type stuff. I'm such an advocate for D&D, even though I don't play it. I think it's such a cool thing that people do.
I grew up playing Warhammer and like adjacent Lord of the Rings game, but mostly because you gotta like paint little figures and make little sets.
Oh, love it.
I very seldom played the game, but I love making the little miniatures.
Well, I loved Polly Pocket as a kid, so I get it.
Oh yeah.
I just wasn't an artiste like you.
Well, and Polly Pocket, you got interchangeable shit. The
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 mechanicalness of it all is so satisfying.
and the texture of like
Yeah.
the small little
Oof.
rubber things are like so good.
Yeah. Millie, right now practicing my makeup for my wedding tomorrow.
Congrats!
Oh my god, moisturized so well tonight.
Weddings are so magical, and
I love a wedding. We have
it's-
like a 3-day wedding thing to go to in like October or something.
Wow.
It's Alec and Izzy, but it's like a 3-day affair.
Wow, that's so
They're
fun.
not Mormon, so they're from, she's from a Jewish family and he's from, I think, just like regular sort of Christian upper middle class
I think
traditions.
if I did it, that's how I would do it. If I ever got married, it would be
Mm.
like kind of like a
Cabin.
a cabin or like a foresty
Yeah.
thing where you could be like hiking during the day or
Mhm.
swimming, and just have like people there for a while and just like really celebrate.
Oh my god, Michelle finding out I was pregnant after 2 years of trying.
Whoa!
This is
Congrats!
becoming emotional.
That's so sweet.
Wait, so are you pregnant right now, or did you already have that? How pregnant are you? Did you have the baby? Tell us more, please. Paddleboarding at Causey Reservoir. Hi,
Oh,
I
Causey's
love
gorgeous.
paddleboarding at Causey.
Yeah.
Prue, I love painting miniatures. It's so much fun. And then everyone's
Uh-huh.
like, miniatures rock.
I did. Never mind. I'm gonna go pee.
Okay.
I
Oh
mean-
no!
I mean, I'm gonna go check on our investments.
because aliens don't pee.
No.
Tanner,
Yeah.
would you rather never have to go to the bathroom again, or you guys answer this too, or never have to sleep again? Me too, because sleep is a nice release.
Yeah.
Relief? Yeah. Respite?
Yeah. Being awake constantly.
Nightmare.
Just the.
Did you already pee?
I'm peeing right now.
In my spacesuit.
Just the having to like be up while other people were asleep you'd be
Oh my God, yeah.
Dracula vibes. You'd have to like meet up
Yeah.
with the vampires and get up to egregious shit.
Yeah.
Like it's just fun.
It'd be a nightmare.
Though apparently most writers do their work like 10 to 4 a.m. or something.
but maybe
And a lot of like hyper productive creative people kind of
all my best
cycle.
ideas happen at 10, which is when I'm like not nurturing it because I'm trying to sleep. But like that's
Exactly.
when all my best stuff comes.
And it feels the easiest because it's like when the sun's out, you like I always feel like
Yeah.
I'm supposed to be doing something
Yeah.
else, and it's when everyone's asleep,
Yep. Yeah.
and I can just like
Hee 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 ha ha. Okay, hurry. Okay. Celine said, "Gonna make a drink and enjoy the love stream." Good, cool. Really good, cool. Okay, Micah, getting invited to dance at the World Folk Fest in Springville tonight. That's awesome. What kind of dancing? I typically don't enjoy weddings, but Shalice's from Cults to Consciousness wedding looked like such an amazing experience. She
Oh.
looked so good.
Everyone's at me.
Yeah,
We love Shalise.
we love Shalice. She's lovely.
Also, she's killing it right now.
Yeah,
She's on
she
fire.
has the work ethic. She has what it takes.
Yeah,
She's
not
incredible.
a bunch. Not yet.
I'll just do a spontaneous ad break while Tanner's in the bathroom, not from our sponsors because we're an atheist channel, so we're kind of too controversial to have sponsors a lot of the time. But anyway, we have a candle with Exmo Candles that we released in the fall of last year, and I stupidly, for the last few months, thought that they'd stop selling our candle. I can't be bothered to get into the miscommunication, but they hadn't. We also love Jenna Exmo Candles. She's also amazing. So our candle is still for sale, and it is I say this all the time, and I don't know how to communicate how genuine I'm being. It is the best smelling candle I've ever owned. We got to like pick the scent and like try out all these different things and like say exactly what we liked, which was a dream project for me. And so our candle is banana nut bread and coconut, and it's so good. I think it's $29, but and it's also a soy blend, and they plant a tree for every candle sold. And I have bought, when I worked in tech and had money, different lifetime ago, I bought $70 luxury candles before that are not as good as this $29 candle. So if you're interested in buying our candle, it should be linked in the description box. If not, it's always linked in the description box for all our videos. That's just my little pitch. We had a couple of rainy days in Salt Lake the last couple of days, so I've been burning it and, live, laugh, loving. Never go to the bathroom again. Yeah, I think that's the right choice. Maybe if it's, maybe if you can choose, like you never have to sleep again, but you can. Maybe that one would be more useful. But the bathroom one would be so nice, like hiking, especially as a woman. Yeah, I feel like there'll be more advantages to that. Never have to pee again. Makes sleep so much better when one doesn't have to get up multiple times a night. Yeah, I hate being scared to be too hydrated at night. It's easier to hear the voices when everyone else is sleeping. Brandon Sanderson apparently writes super late. Okay, Janelle said, took my platonic life partner of 4 years with me to visit my sister and brother-in-law. We spent the day hiking all over Rocky Mountain National Park, and it was so lovely to have them join me in a family visit. Someone else said, hi, Tana.
I can
Oh.
use it.
You have such a strong back. It's hard to... Gorgeous.
Hey guys, what's up? What am I missing?
Oh, I cannot believe Shalise has only had her channel for a year and is that successful.
Oh, that's embarrassing.
Like,
for
I
us.
can't believe it. Yeah, I
It's
know.
really embarrassing
I
for
know.
us.
What do we do about that? Yeah. Some people just, we're all different. And I just think we have to honor our own rhythms. And she has a genuine passion for what she does. And I don't know, she just seems deeply passionate about her work. And we are too, but in a different sort of way that doesn't compel us to do it like so often.
Mm-hmm. I think we, since day one, have valued our free time, our well-balanced life with many varied interests outside of this.
Yeah.
And
because it's also no small deal having your job be
not
like...
to say that other people, that Shirley's or anyone's unbalanced, of course.
No. Just like being on camera and having everyone pass judgment on you is kind of an intense thing. And for me, if I was doing that every single day of the whole week, I don't know. I just don't enjoy that. But I love that I can have like days in my week where I'm just coaching and like connecting with people one-on-one and getting to hear people's stories. And it's like not all about me. I don't like the focus of my whole work being me. And when you're on camera, like there's a degree to which it sort of is, because you're always performing, and then the whole success of your efforts depends on like, are people liking me? Are people thinking I'm smart enough or funny enough? And it's like, so I'm not always smart enough, funny enough, nice enough, you just can't be, you can't be everything to everyone. And yeah, I don't know. It's just a weird thing to do.
I feel like most of the really successful YouTubers we've met are like absolute workhorses. Like they really go hard.
Everyone we know who's like really successful.
Yeah.
In the ex-Mormon
it's because they literally just are cranking out shit all the time.
And that feels like that feels sort of natural to them, but to us, I just think, I also feel like part of our whole vibe is not that. And so to try and force ourselves to be that, we'd like probably like lose the essence of who we are a little bit.
Yeah, and I for one would hate to lose our essence.
My fucking essence. Though we did film 2 videos this week and get them both up, and we're doing a stream, so we have
been girl bossing. There's no doubt about it.
Out of financial necessity. Yeah.
Yeah. Once the coals get hot, we start dancing. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, you guys want us to do anything for you for money? Let us know.
Odd jobs.
I
greeting card
videos. While you
videos.
were gone.
Oh, nice.
So Ray said, "Gonna buy the candle now." I wanted to, for everyone failed to. It's a fun way to support us because you actually get like a tangible thing that.
And it's a good
lasts.
ass candle. It's genuinely
really good. I am such a candle snob. I have tried every candle.
And it's definitely the best candle.
I wish the Exmo Candles company had like a slightly higher end looking label, because how good their candles are is not like reflected in the label. It's not really that big of a deal, but I'm just saying like they, as I have said, are as good as these like $70 luxury candles. And I feel like you wouldn't necessarily know that. But like, I mean, yeah, you can't.
You do once you smell it, you're like,
yeah,
that's not a $10 candle.
Also, sometimes if I get a candle with a label that I'm just like, I don't know, sometimes I like to just have like the glass with the candle. You can just use nail polish remover and remove the label, and then it looks like more high end.
Or Goo Gone.
Just a fun fact. Or what?
Goo Gone.
What's that?
Gooby Gone.
What's Gooby Gone?
Goo Gone.
Goo Gone?
It gets rid of goo.
Is that the name
All
of your
kinds of
leader?
Yeah.
My leader, Goo Gone? You watch Solar Opposites?
No.
Oh,
I have seen episodes. So.
I'm always so tired. If I could be energized without needing sleep, that would be awesome. She also came from a different podcast. Oh, because Shalise did Mormons on Mushrooms, didn't she?
That's
Who we
right.
also love.
Yeah.
Mormons on Mushrooms are more our vibe. They are not like addicted to the hustle of content creation.
And the last event we did with them was like
really chill.
Such a great
really
time.
Fun, yeah.
Yeah.
I love those guys. Oh, Michelle is 8 weeks. Super nauseous, but grateful. Your content has been so great, by the way. I've been following you since 2019 and you guys have been so influential in all capitals.
That's so sweet.
That is so exciting. Yeah, 8 weeks I've heard that's a very nauseous time. So hopefully that you come out of that soon.
That's 8 weeks of pregnancy. That's 8 weeks of half marathon running. 8 weeks of anything. I'll just take it out of you.
Oh, Ray said Zelf is my favorite Mormon cult themed podcast. Cue America Ferrera's speech, Sam. That was the best speech.
I thought he was sending us money out of pity, to be honest.
Yeah. I wouldn't call us the best Mormon cult themed podcast. It's all just, it's vibes though.
All vibes.
John Dylan would never drink a beer in a live stream.
Well, it is a mild barley drink, though.
We're getting close to 2 hours, so we can
Pull another card.
another card. Okay. Also, if you've just got here for whatever reason, don't think you have, but we are taking super chats and also Venmo super chats. Our Venmo is in the description box.
Can I just, even though I'm wearing this green thing, I feel kind of hot today.
You should feel hot.
But it's nothing with the green thing.
You've
The green
got
thing is kind of
a fit
antithetical to
body.
that.
You've got perfect facial symmetry. You've got great hair. Everything about you. Yeah. You have huge muscles.
Thank
You
you.
guys can't even see. The camera at
It's not
minus-
picking up the veins, but
it's
they're there.
because of the green. You can't.
Yeah. It's...
Ooh, what title would you give this chapter in your life?
Getting weird with it. when the going gets weird, the weird turn pro.
My working class era. What title would I give this chapter in my life? It sounds cheesy because I feel like this will be like always the theme of everything, but it feels like a big letting go chapter. Like people's opinions, things that are not serving me. And it does seem true. The older you get, the more you realize you need to let go of.
Yeah. You're kind of mid your Saturn returns, right?
Yes. My last one was when we left the church.
That can't be
No.
right.
My last one was when I got divorced.
That still can't be right, I don't think.
No.
Right? Isn't it only
No.
every 28 years or something?
Oh, that one. There was a different one someone on TikTok
Which
talked
one
about
was-
that was basically like in 2015, and it was right when we left the church. And I was like, whoa,
Interesting.
maybe it was a different planet returning.
I've had a thing where people that I've known where like similar, kind of archetypes of people where you're like, you're a similar person, like people that I knew like 7 years ago-ish. I've like met like a new batch of people who like remind me. It's
Totally.
just weird.
Totally get
I
that.
don't know if there's anything to that, but
My current chapter, waiting on the world to change.
waiting.
Sam got divorced. Yeah, I got divorced when I was 25. I'm 31 now.
Venus retrograde, says Ash.
Oh, okay. It's hard to know what chapter you're in until you get to the next one, 2020 hindsight. Yeah, and it's also kind of hard to know when one chapter ends and another begins. I guess sometimes there's like big shifts that happen.
Mm.
I guess 1 year ago I quit my tech job and became poor. So that's kind of part of this is like the can I make it on my own chapter.
Mm.
We'll
find
jury is
out.
still out on that. It all depends on your super chats, honestly. I never know from 1 week to the next whether I'm like, should I become a copywriter again? But then I'm like, no, I love being a coach and I love doing YouTube and
I won't go back to a restaurant. I
please don't make me go
won't.
back to copywriting.
I don't think I could go back to copywriting. I could maybe do if it were like
I
a
could do a freelance
very
gig. Yeah.
specific type of creative writing. I'd be down maybe if it was like collaborating on a creative project, but just to like
Yeah.
hot commercials or something.
I think I could do like freelance copywriting gigs, and that's kind of my threshold. But just working for one company is just, it's tough.
I've had a taste of self-employment and I'll never go back.
Yeah.
Of the luxury lower middle class life, and I'll never go back.
It's good, but it's nerve-wracking.
It is nerve-wracking,
it's
but you
hard.
get used to it after a few 6 years or so.
Like relying on other people. I guess you're always relying on other people to pay you,
Mhm.
but there's like
This is so different.
there's it's literally just like, am I likable enough this week for people to send me money? That's harrowing for me. Someone who has a massive complex around being unlikable,
Mhm.
not ideal.
I'm not very extrinsically motivated. Like that's why I just have not worked a like typical job for a long time, because I'm like, I actually am so unmotivated to do that. Like the money doesn't matter. I do not care. I want to wake up when I want to wake up. I want to go outside when I want to go outside. I want to do things that matter to me. I want to like write about stuff that I care about. I don't want to, pretend that I'm the thing at work where you have to like pretend that it's
know.
like the most important thing
I
going on in
know.
anyone's life. And they're like, we're all so, and I'm like,
Work
Guys.
it's such a circle.
guys.
Yeah, I And it's like you're literally considered not a good employee if you're not like if you the idea that you would be copywriting for a paycheck is like you're not good enough. You have to be like independently passionate about writing for a tech company.
Yeah. I just that like performative.
I hated that. I was never able to do it.
No shade on real jobs. I'm just obviously incapable of thriving in a corporate environment.
Our Patreon, we put work into it, and it's really good.
Yeah.
I really stand by our Patreon content.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, when was the last time you surprised yourself? The half marathon training was like kind of a lot of that. Like I genuinely do not think I was a person that could run 7 or 8 miles. But I don't know.
Sometimes I'll catch something when it's falling out of a cabinet and I've got my hands full of stuff and I'll just be like,
yeah.
Whoa, damn Tan, that was fucking cool. Like that wasn't even me. That was just like, great job, buddy old pal.
Oh my God, now I'm having an existential crisis because I'm like, do I ever surprise myself?
I am so...
I like surprise myself with almost like negative things in a weird way.
I'm like, another donut today? Damn, you bastard.
You crazy. You don't eat a lot of donuts.
Goral dinner, I crave it. At
Donuts
night.
specifically?
At night when I'm like stoned and falling asleep and like watching Succession, like I want a Pizza Hut greasy pizza and a fucking donut.
Sometimes that can mean you haven't had enough calories in the day, or it can just mean that you're stoned.
These days, I've been missing my wallet for a couple days, and it's been, yeah. I'm excited to go eat my first meal of the day soon.
Oh. I have long hair.
Because I just found it after praying to Hanuman.
Thank God. Did you actually?
I did on the car drive over because somebody. I've always been interested. First of all, in India, because I had a teacher from India when I was in high school who like really made a difference for me. And I got really into Bollywood. I don't know if that's something that you could tell just by looking at me, but I was like super into Bollywood in high school.
And college. You made us go to a Bollywood. You made a Bollywood party.
That's right.
Which was really fun.
And we should do another one. I just loved like the weddings that I would see in like Bollywood movies. Not to say that, like every Indian wedding is like this, but like so fun and colorful. And Brian was like, I would want to do that. Like that looks so cool.
Yeah.
Versus like a fucking Mormon wedding. So sad. Sorry to all
So
those
sad.
of you who endured that. What was I saying again?
Hanuman.
Yeah. So I lost my wallet. Been interested in Indian mythology, Hindu mythology, all that. And Hanuman apparently is a god who can help you find shit. So I was like, wouldn't it be funny if I prayed to a different god to, do a little experiment? If you can pray to the Mormon god and find your keys, what if you pray to a different god? What happens? So I prayed on the way over. And then right when I was getting out of the car, I found my little wallet.
I love that. Thank God, because I was stressed about that
Thank
too.
Hanuman.
It's kind of bringing me down.
He's a monkey.
Yeah. Michelle, I'm self-employed and it does feel like the only way to truly be in control of my life balance. I think that's what keeps me motivated through the hard parts of being in charge of everything. I feel like a lot of being self-employed is the mental aspect of it. You have to kind of like keep, not allow yourself to fall into despair sometimes. You have to kind of stay hopeful and positive about everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You have to be definitely optimistic and like manage with like fear and insecurity well. I'd just be like, I have no money, but I actually do feel genuinely held by community, both close and far. And that has felt more and more as time has gone on. So like at this point in my life, I feel really good because I'm like, I know that there are people who have my back, worst case scenario, which, money in the world has a price on that.
Yeah. Ray, I have long hair, and when I was first growing out, it would surprise me a lot, and I'd flinch when I saw it out the corner of my eye. Nothing to find. It surprises me when something I really cared about no longer registers as concern, and vice versa. Values change, and it's surprising. I do love when that happens. Like recently, I've had experiences where like things I'm obsessing about suddenly become boring to my brain, and I'm like, oh, I guess I'm kind of past that hurdle. Maybe it'll come back a little bit, but it does feel nice realizing that the brain is good at kind of processing stuff and moving on. Yeah.
You've surprised me recently in a similar thread.
Really?
Yeah.
Like what?
Where you just like, something happened and then I was just expecting like a lot more
fanfare.
maybe not the right word, processing maybe,
Mm.
or just like you
I
to
feel
be
like I made you process it a lot with me.
well, me personally, but like you like really went out of your way to not make it a big deal to other people. It was like
Yeah, I
my mom
did.
said, I'll just talk to you, and I was
Yeah.
like, damn, Sam, that's some like mature.
I was like, I'm
adulting.
gonna keep this tight between Tanner and Jared, and then like have slowly allowed a little bit more water through the dam. As it, yeah, but yeah.
Anyway, that is
growth for me. You're right.
Cool. That was
Yeah. I think the older I get, the more I'm just like, you do need to vent and support. But I think when I was younger, and maybe it was because I didn't have a solid support system, so I almost had to like cast my net wider. Never true, but I feel like you and Jared are both such, and also my cousin, who's obviously removed from everything in my life in America. I just feel like that's a good. The triangle is the strongest shape.
That's what I'm always saying.
So I didn't, yeah. I feel like I did like, I'm a person who definitely needs to like talk things out loud a lot when I'm like processing them. But then it's like, kind of done, you know? It's like done when it's done. I mean, things still come back up, but I'm like, I feel like if you just honor what you need for processing, then you move forward quicker.
Yeah.
Rather than trying to like do it all by yourself. Yeah. Love to be vague on the internet.
Love it. My favorite.
Well,
Morning from New Zealand. Oh, speaking of fantasy escape destinations in the turmoil of the United States, New Zealand looks very promising. Hear great things.
Yeah. Well, I think it's time to wrap up. Thank you all who sent us super chats and made this little fundraising stream worth it. And also those of you who just contributed emotionally and made this worth it.
And to those who didn't contribute at all, you can get wrecked.
Yeah. I mean, if you're a number in...
If you're watching, you're contributing.
Yeah.
That's just consciousness.
Simply being a cog in the machine is valid. Yes.
Isn't that true of physics?
Yeah.
Like, if you, by witnessing, you are participating?
Yeah.
Oh, such a precious love.
Thank you, guys. Go buy our candle and watch us on Patreon.
If anyone meets any aliens, let us know. We'd love to have them on the channel for an interview.
We have 13 episodes of Stephanie up on our Patreon. So if you need something to binge this weekend, I don't think you'll regret it.
No.
I'm willing to give you my word on that. You won't regret it.
No. That there's lessons learned, laughs had, friendship strengthened, drugs did.
Kelly, I'm honored to be a cog in the Banksy machine. Nothing to find. Friday fun day is a wrap. Good time was had by all, especially Banksy.
Yeah, Banksy's holding the ship together.
Sometimes my coaching clients will know the names of my cats as they jump up for themselves. I just think it's so endearing. It's like the first time I've ever met with them, and they're like, "Oh, Banksy."
That's so cute.
Many coaching session spots available still for next week if you're interested. And looks like we have a final Venmo super chat, which is so nice, Liliana.
I mean, we'll see. We can't call it final yet. Who knows what could happen in the next 20 seconds.
Liliana, I've gone down the Tim Ballard OUR rabbit hole, so I appreciate the tough work you guys do. I know it's a lot. Thank you so much for saying that, because it really has been a harder than average period of time on the channel, just doing all that stuff. And also, I'm like so mad at myself for, I feel like I've like turned so, and who knows if they would have been turned onto the video anyway, but I feel like I turned so many people off that first video, which was really good, by bringing up the, a lot of right-wing people will imagine that child trafficking is like the suburban white girl. And what I meant to be it just was like an off thing to say, because growing up, that was true. We all got stranger danger, and it was always like the white suburban girl, and that was kind of the thing. And the UN has even talked about how all of us kind of viewing human trafficking as like just a white middle class problem, or like the UN has talked about that being a phenomenon. But obviously, Tim Ballard and OUR generally go to third world countries with non-white people. So I feel like I just like kind of destroyed our credibility a little bit before we even started in that video. And I did a pinned comment to explain that, but it's just like, it's too late. It is what it is. Sometimes you just say something in a video and you don't know until after how much, like you can't know the feedback in advance. And so it's just like, like, I get what you're saying. I know that. I'm not saying Tim Ballard doesn't. Yeah.
It's why we'll have a third video eventually.
Yeah. And just with like with YouTube to be even close to financially sustainable, you have to put up at least one video every week. And so there is pressure to be kind of, you just, sometimes you don't catch yourself, or you don't like anticipate a certain like miscommunication. and it's annoying. And then I beat myself up for it, but like it's fine.
Yeah, I think a lot of the people who have been attracted to that video were not going to be won over no matter what. So
Yeah.
it's kind of.
I think you're right. Yeah.
I mean, the very strong reactions of just like, how dare you? How the fuck could you? And it wouldn't really matter what you say. It's like you're going up against
People
people's.
do seem like genuinely baffled. Like they're like, how could this film possibly be bad? It is only raising awareness.
I know, it's like, didn't you see the movie? Like, this is like true. And it's like, it's literally not
not
though.
true.
It's literally not. You literally just saw a movie and we're like, oh, movies are real life.
And if you just have a black and white view where it's like this thing is bad and this thing is calling attention to this bad thing, like, but it's just so much more complex than that. It's like, how are these people making this movie and involved in this movie affecting like the field of anti-trafficking? It's just obviously.
I have so much to say. We will do another
We will
video.
save it for part 3. But moral of the story is thank you, Liliana,
Yeah.
for validating us.
And to whoever is about to send us a Venmo before we get off.
To whoever our biggest financier of the day is about to be. We love you so much.
Financier of the day. That's kind of fun.
For the small price of $100, you could be our
Financier.
You guys are the best.
Yeah.
I like doing these streams.
Oh my God, it's Clara.
Aw.
It's taking it or Clara. I don't know.
And it says celebrate the first super chat from Clara. This is a new feature. They did not have this last week. Thank you so much.
Congratulations, Financier of the day.
Okay.
We love you all so much. Thanks for
Happy
supporting
weekend.
the channel. Thanks for participating in all the ways that you participate and keeping this ongoing conversation going. We love you all so
We
much.
do love you.
Thanks for letting us do this. Thanks most of all to Banksy. He's always been chilling at the podcast lately. And sorry for calling it a podcast. But he
Yeah.
loves to hang out and be
He
on camera.
loves to hang out.
Part of me thinks that Banksy enjoys being admired.
If a flower doesn't, Banksy, and he can feel it. He can feel it's an energy when my heart is like bursting out of its chest. I'm like, he can feel my heart bursting out of his chest. He's not an idiot. Banksy is the main character. Yeah.
All right.
Love you
I don't have the
guys.
fingers for it.
Bye.